A new one.
Wackles. It's so weird saying Wackles still. Like it's so weird for me. People call me Wackles and I find it normal, but when I say it myself, I find it weird still. So
yeah, I get that. Yeah, I can kind of call myself Warder because
yeah,
it's my name.
Kind of works.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. It's been bit stressful. There's been a lot going on. Obviously, Football Manager come out, and then been doing that, and then Arsenal have been playing games, which I find interesting. I don't know if a lot of people do.
I did on this one. I actually did.
I mean, it's been a good month. I think overall as an Arsenal, like we think about where we were the month, like what we were thinking going into October. It's kind of been a bit of a mental month, but it's just nothing really to complain about. It's Halloween tomorrow. I like Halloween. I find it quite fun.
Are you a dressing up person? Are you like someone who gets into like character?
Yeah, well, yeah, usually, yeah. I usually.
Oh, nice.
It depends what I'm doing because obviously everything's so busy. I prefer, I think Halloween's for house parties more than going out. But I'm at the age now where everyone's like, no, we've got to go out, so I have to go out all the time now. And my friends are all going as like mafia people this weekend. But I thought I don't want to do that. I don't want to wear a suit, so I'm going as a pizza instead. Kind of goes with the theme. I'm gonna stand out every time we do something. I stand out so much because I do something stupid.
That's not what I was expecting you to say at all. That's so funny. Oh God, what is Just Tom saying here? Just watch Jaffin. For those of you that don't know what Jaffin is, that's the James Lawrence Alcott and Flav one for now. And the record for eating 12 Cumberland sausages is 1 minute. Now, the worrying thing about this comment here, Tom, is that you put "you're welcome" like you want us to try and do that tonight. One, I don't have 12 Cumberland sausages just like hanging around. Two, I'd have to go and cook them in preparation for this. So, a segment next week.
That YouTuber who eats like loads of stuff quickly, I bet he could do that because you just don't even eat it, sort of thing. You don't even like
just
chew
it.
Yeah, you just swallow it, and you just get
1 minute. Hang on, 12 Cumberland sausages in 1 minute. That's nuts.
That is it's quite crazy.
That's nuts, isn't it? That's like essentially, every 5 seconds, one's gone.
Yeah, I can see a couple of bites and then swallow it down. I can see how that's done. But
I did a man versus food first. I love how this is a football podcast, but we've just gone into you dressing up as a pizza and now into man versus food. I did a man versus food once, and the starter for that came out, and it was chili beef, and it was like a really long plate, not a circular plate, like just abnormally long plate of chili beef. I had that. And then they had a burger that came out, and it was the most obscene burger. It's the first time I've ever been thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to eat this burger. Forced myself to do it. And then they had Death by Chocolate at the end. Got that. And at the end, I had like a small amount of pride from doing it, and then a lot of self-loathing at the same time. It's I'm more of a big eater than a quick eater. You know what I mean? So maybe we could just do like an eat-a-thon.
I'm like the opposite. Like I just never used to eat, so my stomach is so small. So I'll eat like nothing. I'll eat like one thing, and I'll drink like I don't know 2 glasses of chocolate milk, and I'll be gone. I won't eat for like 2 days.
Oh man, yeah.
That's why I don't put any weight on because I just don't eat.
Yeah, what's going on tonight? We're going to be talking about the Brighton game. We'll go into more Halloween outfits in a minute because I'm sure Wackles wants to get into that more. We'll go into some Jamie O'Hara comments because we have to do that. And then if we've got some people live, and we are on a different night. So, Tom, thanks for tuning in, mate. If anyone is here, we'll do some questions at the end as well. Oh, and I don't know if you've got it ready. Have you got your favourite team ready?
I don't have a left back still, but everywhere else is done.
Okay, cool. We'll do that. We'll do that as well. Let's get into it then. Let's go with. Oh, hang on. What's going on? Oh, I thought I was going to have a problem like Alex did earlier. If anyone was watching the Cannon Pod, they'll know that he couldn't share anything. But no, I'm up and running. So 2-0, Brighton. I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back here. Ready? There we go. And it's not anything to do with the actual match. It's just the fact I did some videos. I actually did a preview. I did a starting 11 video. I haven't done a review, but that's because I knew we were going to go live today. More content coming out, Reece. Look at me. I'm growing. Like a real content creator.
Road to 1,000 subs.
Woo! Yes, let's go. What did you think of the lineup? Let's start off that, because, I mean, I wouldn't say I was massively surprised. Like, the big surprise was Hannes starting. And I guess Dowman as well. Dowman was in my 11 that I wanted. But were you surprised with the lineup, or were you kind of just like, well, it's League Cup, this is to be expected?
Before I will also give myself a pat on the back, because I not only have watched the UCL game we play, I do watch all UCL games because I don't find it as bad. I watched the entire of the EFL Cup game, and I watched the first half of the Crystal Palace game live. And then after the first half stressed me out, I went, I'm done. And then I went and played Power Wash Simulator while the second half was on. And then I looked at the score at the end and was like, oh, we won.
Sorry, did you just glaze over a game called Power Wash Simulator?
Yeah, 2. It's the second one. Just came out.
Oh, it's the second one. Okay, that's right then.
That's a bit. I was playing that, so I was like completely zoned out, and then I was like, okay, we're going to slowly do it in steps, you know. So I watched one half, and then maybe we'll get to a full game of a Prem game one day. But I was like,
no, nice.
Don't quite there. But then I watched the EFL Cup. I watch all the Cup games. I don't know what it is. I don't find the Cup games as stressful. Or I don't know what it is. I just find them like so much more easy. So I just don't really care. Unless we get to like the Champions League quarters, I'm like worrying. But other than that, like I watched this game. I looked at the lineup. I think I woke up and the lineup was already out, or it came out like as I was in bed or something like that. And I looked at it and I just was like, that's funny. It's so funny that every year I've been pretty critical of Arteta's like unwillingness to rotate. And I get he doesn't like the players in the bench, and he doesn't like certain situations. They don't press as well as he wants him to. They don't do all this stuff. I get it. But like, I was just like, well, you know, I still think we need to rotate somewhat, because then what's the point of having squad players? Like, what is the point of Zinchenko sitting there for 3 years if you're like, oh yeah, he's not good enough to play? Like, just play him in these games. Who cares? And so when I looked at the lineup, I was a little bit surprised about a Noose playing. In like hindsight, obviously Gyökeres has played way too much, needs to be rested. Martinelli is injured. I think he actually might have played Martinelli up front, maybe. I mean, that is wishful thinking.
Oh, that's a shout.
Because obviously
I don't know.
Marino is the backup striker, but Marino is the captain. He played in central midfield. So I think if that was the case, and he probably had that plan in the first place, that we're going to play as Marino, Wineri, Norgard midfield, which isn't the first time we've seen this midfield. We saw it in pre-season. We've seen it in other cups when substitutes have been made. So these three have actually played a few times with each other now. So that, I think, is kind of his like backup midfield in a way that he kind of looks at. So I mean, I was really excited seeing House of News. I completely 100% thought Dowman would play. I didn't even have a thought in my mind that Dowman wouldn't be in the team. And I guess after it, I saw a lot of people saying it. I was like, oh yeah, he clearly couldn't have been in the team. But I just, because he didn't even start against Port Vale. Obviously, that was Saka getting fitness, and there was a different situation there. But I just assumed Dowman would start in this game. And yeah, the rest of the team was cool. Like, finally got to see Hincapier play this week.
Yeah.
Like, I finally made a video what we learned from his debut, because we finally saw him play. I was so happy.
That's been in the archive since he's signed for us.
And I made that video with like his 12 minutes he played against Palace as well. He had touched the ball like 9 times, but I still thought there was a lot of interesting things that happened. And it was cool to see him. And like the rotation, we put 10 new players in, barring Eze. And we won still. We weren't brilliant, especially the first half. I think second half we were much better. But I look at like, I mean, I'm sure we talk about the whole Liverpool thing, but like with them and their team, like I've heard that Slot threw that game on purpose, and I just think looking at the team, yeah, he clearly did. I've seen people say that,
Mm.
like I've seen people on YouTube be like, I'm gonna say it. I think he threw it, and I'm like, well, look at the team. He clearly did throw it. Like he knew he wasn't gonna win with that team. No one does. You don't play a Football
The
Manager game
problem
if
is,
you're
though,
not gonna play a
his
team.
comments after saying that, oh, I looked at this team and the options and we haven't got this. Well, you chose those players. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have your cake and eat it. I just, that really frustrated me. There's like certain things. And I feel that, certain players must be looking at that going, you kind of taking a mick. Like, I do wonder, like, the messaging that he's sending to his own players now, because, managers are going to complain. We've said it before. Managers are going to complain. But when you put a team out like that, well, and you didn't have to. You've got players like, I know Isak's injured, but you can still play Ekatike if you want to. You've got plenty of good players, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That annoyed me a bit.
It's so true. They have. I mean, it's not only the amount of money that they spend, but like they have players to play. They have a squad. Where are they? Like,
Yep.
I just think like they didn't have to play all of them from the start, but they could have put them on the bench. Salah hasn't started a lot of their cup games recently. He's only played once a week. You look at some of the other players. Ekatike has not played every game this season. He's been dropped for most of it for Ezo for about half the last games. He could easily have played. They played Villa on the weekend. Yes, Villa aren't playing in the week, and Villa are a little bit of a better team. But you're home to Villa, a game you should win and you are favourites for. I get that the worry about injuries and all this stuff is going to happen, and I get that next week they've got Real Madrid and then Manchester City, and I understand that. But it just feels like I mean, I'm all for abolishing the EFL Cup. I don't think it should be a thing. I don't think since I've been born it has made any sense, and I don't like the competition. And I do think like Liverpool specifically as a club. I know they've won it a few years ago, but Klopp never cared about this competition. Like, he always played youngsters. I know they did well to win it under him. Like, he did well with the youngsters there. But we remember that time where they had that World Cup, the Club World Cup game, and then he didn't even turn up. He couldn't. And then they had the under-21 manager take over, and they got thrashed by Villa, I think it was. And I completely get it. I'm all for the boat as I don't care about the EFL Cup. If I'm playing Football Manager, I put like anyone out. I don't care. I lost 4-0 in my West Ham video to Cardiff in it. I don't care. Like, I don't think this competition should exist. But yeah, like, you have enough squad players. You spent more money than anyone else in this summer. And like, the thing is, I mean, I saw a tweet, like a comment, I think it was by Anfield Agenda when they were losing or something. And he was like, oh, we had the team that was supposed to compete on all four fronts and we don't have them. And it's like, no, you weren't. If you went into this season thinking Liverpool were going to compete at all four fronts, I'm sorry, but you're just stupid. Like, that they bought players when they replaced others. You think about the players that they bought. They bought one centre back, Leone. Who did they get rid of? Konza.
Yep.
That's 1 in, 1 out. And Konza played a fair amount last season, and Joe Gomez is just sitting on the bench. You look at the fullbacks. Trent's gone, Frimpong in. They they got a left back in and didn't sell a left back, but maybe Simicast has gone on loan. I can't really remember. And it's just pointless. Like, you look at the attacking line. Nunez, obviously Yotta's not there. Diaz is not there. They signed Ekatike, Isak, and Vert. That's 3 in, 3 out. Like, ultimately, they didn't actually get a bigger squad. And last year, they did get away with not only a lot of variance going their way in games, which I will say is kind of actually going for Arsenal. For once, we're finally getting some sort of rub of the green, which is nice to see. But the big thing about all of it is that, like, their team and everything that they did have built is completely different from last year. They don't have the depth, and last year they got relatively lucky with injuries. They did. They have considerably way older players than Arsenal. Their best players are a decade older nearly than Arsenal's best players. And they had no injuries, and we had loads. And yes, there is certain game styles to that. I think Slot is a little bit more. Not pragmatic, but he doesn't press as intently as Klopp did, and maybe we do at certain points, not maybe recently because we've changed it up, but that's what we've done in the past, and I get that. And that Arsenal's defense is so good because everyone runs back, and I know other teams like Liverpool don't have that. They just let it be in the defense. But like, I just look at all these things and I'm like, I said at the start of the season that Liverpool will be good, and I think the team that they've bought is better. It will be better next year than this year because when they get a few more components like a centre back, proper DM, then they'll be worthy. But like, I knew this was going to happen. I'm not particularly surprised. And they've got a couple of injuries. Cool. They've got about the same amount of injuries to big players than we do. And I mean, people were crying in the summer saying Arsenal's window didn't make any sense. This is why we did it. This is why we signed 8 players. Like, even signing 8 players to come in, no matter how their quality is, and all the players we signed are top quality, but even not doing that, like even a Norgard, I know people are critical of Norgard in this game, and I don't think he was very good. He was very poor in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's just a name that we need in that squad to make sure Zubimendi isn't playing every single game. And they don't do that. They've got Endo there, who they didn't even play ever. Endo was so good under Klopp, and Slot just hates him. And it's like, well, what's the point? And I don't know. I have no sympathy for Liverpool. Absolutely none.
No.
Like City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Tottenham, Arsenal, even Brighton to an extent, and Palace. I mean, Palace played kind of a full team, but every one of them teams rotated a decent amount, but still played big players. Maybe not as much Newcastle and Tottenham because they had a big game against each other. But like, that's what you need to do. And, just in case if them main players aren't playing well, you've got them on the bench. Like, we were struggling. The first half, we were not great, but you expect that with 10 players coming in against a Brighton team that was still a decent team. A lot of them have played a lot more Premier
Went
League
man
this
to man
season.
with us a lot of the time as well, which kind of changed the idea of the game. Like, we used to teams sitting off us, and I mean, I quite liked it. Like, physically, you could tell they were up for the game. They thought, actually, we can run at Arsenal. We can run with Arsenal, and not a lot of teams do that. But yeah, like you said, like having 10 players changed is always going to change how you look. Especially, ironically, open play goals. Like, surprise, surprise. Like, we get a couple of open play goals, and teams open up at us a little bit. At the same time, I think, if we had our first team out, we would have been even better. Bringing out, I've got the Liverpool injuries here. So they have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got 6 players out. Isak being a player that is, his injury record is well publicized. It's not like a shock that everyone's gone, oh, wait a minute. You bought a guy from the Premier League and he suddenly got injured. I've never seen that from him. Do you know what I mean? There was always a risk, and that's part of what put some Arsenal fans off when his name was muted for us. I would have definitely taken him, obviously, but it would have affected the building of our squad. And I kind of understood it in the end. I went, well, actually, you can't do it. Do you remember we did an episode on here and we said, I think it was 300 million, and neither of us could get him in our squads because it was just not the right choice. You've got him out. Alisson's out, who again is another player who has had a lot of injuries. Gravenberch is out. Curtis Jones is out, which is what it is. Frimpong, who they've brought in again. Is he like a traditional right back? No. So they've brought him in, and he wasn't kind of fitting in their mold of how they want to play anyway. And then he's got injured. And then you've got Giovanni Leone. Again, you risked it. You brought him in. Like you said, if Konza's getting out, surely it would have made more sense to get someone more robust or someone, at least with Premier League experience. I don't know. Like, the makeup of their squad, I just think you spending over £400 million, you've broken the transfer record twice. Like, I don't know. There's not much foresight.
They just needed to buy more squad players, really. Like, obviously they did try to get Gueye, like that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, even that situation, okay, they kind of got a bit screwed over. Fair enough. Like, what it is. But they still didn't really care until deadline day. They kind of just was like, well, he'll join us, and waited. And Liverpool, like, they've got a lot of things go their way in a while now. And they just kind of expected him to join. And now he's a free agent in the summer. You've seen Bayern are talking to him. Real Madrid are talking to him. They can sign him on a pre-contract in January where Liverpool can't compete for him because they have to wait till the summer because he's in England. So, it's one of them situations now where if I'm Mark Gueye, I'm going, ooh, Bayern. Like, Bayern's defenders are pretty dodge, and they're one of the best teams in Europe right now. Real Madrid, I think he could get in there in certain games, with their injury record, especially. The defenders I think there's a certain level there where he goes, well, if Liverpool do have a poor season, I want to go to that sort of level. And they missed out on that guy
Sit in
because
Spain, pick up trophies, like, because that's essentially what's going to happen at Liverpool anyway for him. Like, would he start? I don't think he actually would.
He must be the long-term Van Dijk replacement. That must be what they're thinking, because he's a right footer that plays on the left side, which is Van Dijk, and not many people do that. Obviously, he's not like Van Dijk in terms of like aerially. He's absolutely no idea. He's not that great aerially. But like, I kind of agree. You know, where is he going to play? Maybe Konate's going to leave. Like, I still don't have a clue what's going on.
Maybe if Konate goes to Real Madrid or something.
I feel like a Gueye Van Dijk situation's weird, and then there's still the elephant in the room. It's the fact Van Dijk is like 34. Like, he can't play forever. Like, he might give it all this year and all next year and still be great and still be one of the best defenders in the world. But you've still got to look eventually. Is that Leone, that guy? Leone's played 11 games in the top 5 leagues. Maybe like he could develop in that, but you just don't know. Like, and like, there is a lot of centre back.
That's a lot of pressure, isn't it? That is a lot of pressure to be like, come on, step up now. You've got and not just to go into Liverpool's team and not, you know, which is hard enough at any point of their history, even when they had a slump, but to come in when you're challenging for titles and then stepping into Van Dijk's shoes. Like,
yeah, it's so funny to me because the one guy that is so Liverpool coded and has been Liverpool coded for like 4 years. I've literally been talking about him joining Liverpool for 2 years.
Rob Holding.
It's not Rob Holding. It's Hincapier. He's literally so Liverpool coded.
Yeah.
Why did they not buy him?
Yeah, he is actually. I haven't really thought about that.
18. I did a video 2 years. One of my first videos on YouTube is literally talking about how Hincapier should go to Liverpool. And that was 2 years ago. That was before Leverkusen went unbeaten. And I was like, this guy just makes sense. If they play a back three, at the time they did a little bit more than they do now. But like even then, like if they want to build up in a three, that makes a lot more sense. He can actually play out wide and cover a lot more for if Kev wants to go away and go up the pitch. And like he's a good defender, he's a good passer, he's physical, he's fast, he covers areas quickly. He just is that, and he's South American. They have lots of South American talent in the Liverpool side. So I just like he is so Liverpool coded, has been for years, and then they just didn't buy him, and then we got him out of nowhere, and he's just at our team and our bench. And I'm just like, it's so weird for me. It's so weird for me. Like it's just so funny, but no sympathy.
Should we go into that actually? Let's go into the lineup for this Brighton game, because seeing as we're talking about Hincapier, him getting his full debut for the club. So Kepa starting in goal. Let's just kind of go through each player. Right, Kepa in goal. I thought coming cold, and he probably had more shots to save in this one game than Raya's faced all season. I'd love to compare.
I think
all month,
he genuinely
definitely.
has all month, I think.
That's nuts, isn't it? But he was on it. He was really, really good. Like his shot stopping was good. I think his distribution was good. He but that's what you want. Like as a player coming in, we needed someone with a bit of experience. We needed someone to step into these games. He did it perfect. I thought he was really, really good, mate.
I thought he was really good. I was really impressed. Like the thing is, I looked at the stats a lot of this game, and don't get wrong. Brighton had 3 clear-cut chances where they should have scored in the first half. They 2 1-on-1s, and they had that header from the corner, which Van Heck just misses an open goal. But in the second half, every single one of their shots was about 40 yards out. Even in the first half, they were just shooting from miles away. And I was like, oh yeah, at the end of the game, they've had 7 shots on target. I was like, 5 of them have been from like, you know, from my house. Like they're so far away. Like I was like, he was just catching them all. And I never really see Kepa catch that much. And I was really impressed because that's always been the thing about Kepa, isn't it? That he's a bad shot stopper from long range efforts. At Chelsea, that was the whole thing, because he just didn't sort his feet out. So maybe that's why Brighton shot a lot more. Maybe like the commentator alluded to that. Maybe that is. But he was really good in them situations. It is funny because every single time they had a one-on-one, you think about Raya. Raya's that really aggressive keeper. He comes out. Kepa is the complete opposite. I know there's a few times in the second half where he like pushed out of his line, but he wants to stay on his line. When they almost scored like 5 minutes in, I was like, why is Kepa staying on his line? But then he stayed on his line, made the save. And I always say, if you're going to stay on your line, at least, if you save it, who cares? Like Lammers did the exact same save to Isak against Liverpool, and I was like, well, he stayed on his line. Like you can't criticize him because he saved it. I thought his kicking was pretty poor, but I think his kicking is not great anyway. I don't think he's a particularly very good long passer. I don't think he ever has been. I think his short passing was really good though. I think he was like helping us a lot in the build up, especially with our new defense. But yeah, like shot stopping, he was calm. He was clean in the back. Like he played really well. Like we talk like the upgrades from him to Neto. Like it's funny because
Oh,
Bournemouth literally did that
well,
upgrade
he's
last
not cup
season.
tied, so that's one
Yeah.
lovely thing, isn't it? That really helps sometimes.
I can't believe that. And it's like Bournemouth literally did that. Kepa to no, they did Neto to Kepa, and we've done the same thing. And yeah, fair play. Like it's funny because this is his competition. If anyone remembers, this is where he was like having an argument. Or the funny thing is, I watched a video where it was like reacting to who I think is going to be the managers in 2019 by the Irish guy, and he said Kepa because back then that was obviously when it happened. It was fresh, and he was like, Kepa has literally been the nicest guy. Like, has there been any damning parts about Kepa's personality since that moment? It's like, no, that happened like 6 years ago.
No, probably not. But ironically, when we were signing him, that's what lodged in my brain. That I cannot get that image out. That whole thing was just. It was just farcical, wasn't it? Like, sorry as well. Like, he was like, oh, I'm walking out. Now I'm coming back. I'm going to walk on the pitch. Now I'm not. Oh, God.
He's now the Spanish Ramsdale. That's what the Irish guy said. I was like, yeah, he's the good feel. He seems like the good vibes guy. Like every time I see him, he seems like he's kind of like the new Jorginho. Like Jorginho was always the vibes guy at Arsenal when he was there. Like everyone loved Jorginho. And I kind of think Kepa is that. And obviously it helps that we have such a big Spanish representation and Spanish speaking representation. But I don't know. Like, great game. Like, I like. Before, I remember we did this before, didn't we, when we won the FA Cup? Because obviously we've had many goalkeepers come in and be our backup goalkeeper just for cups. Like Emi Martinez won us the cup and was fantastic in the cup. Couldn't get a league game, couldn't get anywhere near the league team. And I think Kepa has if he continues his performance up, if we play Palace, beat them, and go well, I don't think we should go to a final of the Carabao Cup and be like, oh, let's just drop him. I know some people will, but I think if he's done well to get there, I keep him in. Personally, I kind of how I feel. Like if they're a cup keeper, they're a cup keeper. And I get that's kind of risky, and I understand the risks there.
I think for me, it depends on performances. Yes, performances like this throughout the cup, and we got to the final. Cool, keep your place. Like Emi thoroughly deserved that.
Fantastic.
But I think if we're kind of scraping by and you're looking, going, you've had some wobblies, like positioning your feet are wrong, things like that. You're spilling out the ball. I might go, yeah, you know what? Let's put him on the world's best keepers instead of him. Understandably so. Yeah, I think it just depends on performances for me. But I understand what you mean. Yeah, I think that was promising. It was promising for me. It was really nice.
Yeah, it was promising.
Who do you want to go for next?
We'll talk about Ben White because, it was so funny. 5 to 10 minutes in this game, he was just giving the ball away and making some awful passes to Max Dowman, and I was getting so angry. And then as soon
Why
as
is it that everyone was giving it to feet to Max? We have to give it to feet to him. We can't play him in on beyond. I think people forget he's quick. He's not just really good on the ball. He's good at getting in and beyond. And a lot of the time I was going in that first 10, especially going, oh, come on. You can help the lad out a bit. But
I think it was more down to physicality. It might be a problem because if you put a ball longer, as much as he might be quick, a lot of Brighton are going to block you, and then you're going to kind of be shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
true.
I spoke to one of my mates, and he was like, it looked like Max Dowman. He didn't struggle with strength in this game, but it's definitely one of his harder games where they were on him quite a lot. I think Max is the sort of player where if you give him a couple of touches on the ball, then he sets himself. He's a bit like Ethan in that way. I always say it's about Ethan. Ethan's better when he has more touches on the ball because then he kind of figures out what he wants to do. He's not a guy that's really instinctive all the time. He's not that sort of
opposite of Martinelli.
Yeah, that sort of style. And Max Dowman, when he gets the ball, and gets a few touches on it, you're like, what? Something's going to happen. This guy's going to do something, and he was doing it. But I felt like Ben White after that did improve a lot. I do think that some people have been going on Twitter he's back. And I'm like, he played well. I think he played well. I think he was decent. I don't know if I think he was anywhere near our best player on the pitch for most of it. I think he was a good player. I think it's that run that everyone keeps talking about where he goes past them 3 players in midfield and then puts it out to Eze, who, by the way, is onside, and the referee just gives it off, and it's okay.
That ball for me, though, because it kind of bends back towards him. It's the final ball for me is not good enough, if you know what I mean. It should be
play
Yeah.
Yeah.
annoyed me, but there we go. That's
I
just
see what
me
you
being
mean
a
with
bit
that. Yeah.
OCD.
No, that's fair. Like, I think this is Ben White's best performance he's had in a long time, in a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
time. And like, we got to take the positives there. We get the reasons why his fitness, he doesn't play consistently. We understand all the problems, but it was nice to see him get a little bit back to what we know. But I still want to see a bit more. I think he was feeding out Max, and I think he eventually learned what Max wanted to do. Obviously, like, it's kind of rough because as much as Ben White was decent, then Timber comes on and just runs past half the team and basically creates a goal. So it's like, yeah, it's like, wow,
He must
okay.
be looking, going, "Oh, what is the point? What is the point of this?" But I mean, I mentioned Rob Holding jokingly earlier. He came out recently again, didn't he, and said like mentality monster. Ben White was playing through like grade 2, grade 3 hamstring tears, and he said as soon as that whistle goes, he snaps and just in. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the guy doesn't feel pain. He's going to be so important this year. We cannot just keep playing Timber every single game. And like for 90s, we've got to give him some time. We've got to rest him a little bit. And Ben White has got so much going for him. I said I wanted Ben White to start this game, and I wanted to see him go down that right-hand side and with the Kepa on that left-hand side, see if we can kind of get at him. And we did. Like, his crossfield balls were good as well. You know, that's something that we don't always have in an Arsenal. No pun intended. But yeah, it's good. Ben, you know, like a good Ben White is like a top player. He really is. He's a top player. Mosquera. He's a snip at 30 mil, isn't he? Let's be honest. I think I said before, like, was it meant to be 30, not 13? He's so good. Like, that pairing, because I will put him in with Hincapier here. That is a top level centre back pairing. Is that, considering they haven't played together, they are then playing against a Premier League opposition. Like, I think that must be kept in mind. Although it's League Cup, and you know they might not be, you know, playing their perfect 11. Like, it's still a good opposition. I think Zimas is a good player as well. I think he gives a lot of options. But Mosquera's just, he's fast, he's incisive, he's aggressive. He doesn't ever seem to like get phased about anything. And his recovery as well is just obscene. Like, you know, he's one of those, he doesn't remind me of Kyle Walker in like the way he plays, but he reminds me of Kyle Walker. Like, he's got that get out of jail card. Like, oh, I've made a mistake. Doesn't matter. I'm going to get back. And he's got like such long limbs that he can kind of reach beyond and win the ball. Like, he was great for me. He's one of my top performers in that match.
Yeah, it's funny because our fastest players in this 11 are our two centre backs. They are absolutely rapid.
Yeah, probably are, aren't they?
They are so quick. It is unbelievable. Mosquera in this game, I think both our centre backs were excellent. I think Mosquera was great. Obviously, he made that mistake near the end where he kind of gets a bit like lost in the ball, and then Hincapier saves him. But that's why they're there. And there's going to be a little bit of miscommunication, especially in terms of build up, because the midfield is a little bit all over the place. So is the attacker a lot of times. So like, they're not going to always get it right. I think as well, Mosquera is a guy that always wants to pass it forward, and sometimes that gets him caught in two minds a little bit. Which is going to happen. But he's just so good. He's just so physical, covers areas so quickly. I thought Mascara was great. I think Hincapier was just like special in this game. Like, I think the big thing about Hincapier for me is that his positioning off the ball is really, really good when he's moved into centre back. Like, in the 10-15 minutes against Palace when he came on, he actually mostly played as like a left centre back, and we played like a 5-back. At the start, Trossard was kind of like a wing back, but then not helping him enough. So then he brought Miles on for Eze, and then he had Miles, Trossard, and Hincapier kind of on this left side. But Hincapier's ability to kind of be tight to players inside the box is something I really like noticed, and how he like marks players is so good. He marked Mateta twice. Mateta gets nowhere near the ball because Hincapier just completely takes him out of it, and he's got this like such a good level of like holding onto a player but not like fouling them or bring them down. And yeah, his tracking is brilliant. Like, his positioning is always great off the ball, super quick. I mean, I was excited when we signed Hincapier. We spent more money on Hincapier than basically like any other defender that we have. So Like he is a real like. When you think about stuff like that, you're like, well, this guy is like that level, and he is that level. He was Leverkusen's best defender. I do like Tapsoba, but he was their best defender, and yeah, he's an incredible player. Like when I saw the memes when we signed Hincapier, when they were like, "Oh, when we're gonna play our backup centre back part, and it should be Hincapier Mosquera," and it's like actually true. Like I've seen so many tweets by like other fans of clubs and being like, "That's their centre back partnership backup. That's insane." I'm like, "Yeah, that is an insane like."
It is mad. Like it is probably better than most centre back pairings in the Premier League. Like genuinely is. Like I think might be Alex on the Cannon Pod, maybe Rohan. Someone said like if they were playing for City and starting, I wouldn't question it. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's just their defense. Like they're top level, and in everything, in like all facets. You know how often you get someone who's like your backup centre back, and they'll be either really good in terms of like aerially, or they'll have like a hole in their game, like one thing where it's like, oh, well, but they're not that quick. Both of them have got so much. They can both be aggressive. They both good on the ball. They're both quick. They're like the reading of the game positionally for the most part. Like Mosquera, I'm a little bit less happy with positionally, but he makes up with it in pace. God almighty. Such a good partnership. They really are.
It's crazy, isn't it? And I do like. I'm starting to know
both of them can play fullback.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I mean, Mosquera literally was like when he plays right back, he's like an lapping right back. Like his guy could do it all. I think like that's what it comes down to. We talk about when Arsenal like want to buy players. I think it's the principles. Like they just want someone who's really fast, really physical. But the thing is, you see I'm starting to notice those are patterns of the players that we buy. And when we buy them, I already know about the player before, and then I watch them for Arsenal, and they do look different. Like maybe not Hincapier experiencing too much of him, and he was excellent at Leverkusen, to be fair. But Mosquera, like. I don't think he's particularly amazing in the air. I think some of his headers are just a bit like they go up in the air a little bit. But like he does seem much more willing to go for headers, which he didn't at Valencia at all. His aerial stuff was awful. Yeah. He seems so much more willing to be patient because he was super, super aggressive at Valencia. And I've said this when he came in. I was like, will he get that sort of Gabriel gene of becoming more patient over time? He's pretty much patient already. Like him inside our box is one of the best box defenders we have because like there's multiple times where he just holds up the defender. There's a moment in this game. I think it might be Ruter who has a one-on-one against him because I think someone makes a mistake. I think probably Norgard. He made a couple, and Mosquera just stands up the guy, and then he waits for him to go left or right, and then eventually he tries to go past him, and he just sticks out a long leg and tackle him, exactly like the tackle we did earlier in the season when we kept that clean sheet when the ball bounced off the bar, and like that's stuff that I think that is one of the only real criticism I have of Saliba. He's really bad in situations like that because he sends people out wide and he doesn't get close enough. And Mosquera is really, really good at that. It's one of his best things. And like that's not something like, he was decent at that at Valencia, but now he's seen it at such a high level. And I'm seeing that development. He's only been at the club for 3 months, and I'm like, I think they've coached him in really, really good ways. It's clear to see as well. I just think having Gabriel and Saliba and having people work under them makes them better. Like I think. Like we talk about how great Miles is, and we could go into Miles now, like how great he was in this game again, just being excellent everywhere. And he played a little bit more of a fullback in this game. Like I think his development also helps with the players around him. Like you see his physicality, you see how he keeps the ball. I mean, he clearly has like a good friendship with Hincapier. They seem to have this thing going on where like they were slapping each other after the goal and stuff. We know that they talk like stuff because of like Spanish, because Hincapier can't speak much English. So like. It clearly is seen that I'm seeing all these similarities to these players, and I'm like, obviously we have a great group right now, and I mean the defense is just insane. We didn't concede a goal for an entire month in 6 games, like, and the only shot on target we conceded in the Prem was that stupid one, which I don't think is
not a shot on target. Yeah, do you know what? Let's bring it up. Let's bring up my tweet.
Well, I don't really know how it's a shot on target. Like, what? Does Nketiah touch it? Like, okay. I don't know. Just
sorry.
It's like when I watch like stats and they're like, oh, big chances created. This guy's created the most chances. And then you watch all the chances and like half of them are just him laying the ball off 2 feet and shooting from 30 yards. It's like, well, yeah, great. I mean, I could probably do that, but it's not too difficult.
I mean, I can't show the video, obviously, but you know what? I could probably just press play and pause, can't I, very quickly? Just to show one.
This guy's Twitter in light mode. Everyone.
Here we go. That's it. That's the shot on target. That's not a shot. I'm gonna get riled up. Not a shot on target. Nor was it even going on target. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so
it doesn't even make any sense. But like, yeah, I mean, we haven't conceded a goal in 6 games. God, I bet every team playing us is miserable. It must be awful to come and play us right now. Like the fact that the big thing for me is that, yeah, I think our defense at the start of this game was quite shaky. We got countered quite a lot. And like somehow we did concede because they just missed like loads of chances. But yeah, like it's genuinely incredible. We are playing, our defense is specifically is playing at a high level. I want to shout at everyone though, because like a lot of it comes down to work rate. Like we talk about Arsenal and every single player wants to run back. In this game, Max Dowman and Noose, I mean, maybe not Eze as much, but like the other two, they were running back and helping the team. Max Dowman.
It's the most I've seen him out of possession. I mean, a Noose, the ground he covered at times was frightening. It was that kind of like thing of, when you look and you go, oh, he'll start closer down, the keeper's got plenty of time, and you go, oh my God, like he's just on him. It was crazy.
So yeah, so what did you think about Miles then? Because I think it's just like, it's one of them games that's just like a normal Miles game. I don't know, it's just good. Like
I think the first half for me, I mean, out of that back four, I think he was the one that impressed me the least. But I'm not saying he performed badly, but he was the one that, because it was a different Miles game. It's not like he, like where he steps in midfield and he controls everything. It wasn't like that. He kind of played more conventional for a left back in this game, which is interesting. I know we've seen like pictures and videos of training, especially with Heinze, doing crossing and trying to stay out towards the touchline and things like that. So I do wonder if it was like an instructional thing. He also got bullied off the ball a couple of times by Rutter.
Two of them were definitely fouls.
I mean, yeah. One of them is basically 2 hands on him, isn't it?
And then the commentator's like, "Oh, he's got to be stronger." And I'm like, "Well, it's just should be a foul, really." But...
And he's not really set himself. But it's one of those things where I look and go, I think that the only thing with Miles' game that frustrates me, is that the right word? Concerns me more than frustrates me, because I don't actually get annoyed with him, is that sometimes I think he's so used to being able to bully people. Like physically, he's so good. When he's set, he's so hard to knock off the ball. Once his arm goes out, get to, move him is near on impossible with anyone in the Premiership. But the thing that worries me is that sometimes I think he is almost overconfident on the ball. And I do worry where we've had the things like the red card incident, which wasn't a red card. But nevertheless, he put himself in a position where you're going to have to take that yellow now. And I worry sometimes just on that he thinks, almost like he thinks as a midfielder, because when you are in midfield, sometimes you can get away with those things, especially in like youth football. Like it is far more likely that you're going to play against a team and not get punished. That's my only concern with Miles. But again, he is so young, and him playing at left back makes a huge difference. And that was my only concern. But again, like, he grew into that game massively. And towards that game, it was like, oh yeah, that's why, he was last year one of the best performing young players in Europe. That's why he's starting in Champions League semi-finals. Like he's an incredible talent. He really is. But yeah, for me, he was the one that didn't shine as much out of the back four. But
I think in a second, it's weird you said, because I actually agree. I think in the first half he wasn't the best. I think in terms of how he plays, like if a player is like 1 or 2 feet away from him, he'll almost like walk into them to feel the contact to then push off that. And that's just kind of how he is sometimes. And that does get him into problems. Ethan's a little bit like that, and I've been critical of Ethan as well with that, but obviously Ethan isn't as strong, so he doesn't do it as much. And And I understand it. I actually think Miles in the second half was like one of our better players. I do think in the first half he was probably one of the worst on the team. But I also want to say that I do think our left side was very dysfunctional. We pretty much in the first
I was
half
going to say the same.
only went down Max Dowman and was like, good luck, mate. And that was the only form we had to get anywhere up the pitch because I don't know what half of these players were doing in that first half. Like, I mean, I don't think any of them particularly played great, like other than maybe like a Ben White and some of the defenders and Dowman. And in the second half, we were a lot better. But even the left side, I think most of the game was a little dysfunctional. It did get better as the game went on to an extent. And when the game opened up more, like we'll talk about some of the other players, but they did get a bit more on the ball. So I agree with you in that sense. I think in the end he did grow into it. I think he's just not a fullback. Like I don't like him being out on this wider area at all. Like he has to invert in the middle. But in this game, like I said, because the left side's a bit dysfunctional, maybe, or maybe not getting the ball, attracting the ball as much. And honestly, when you've got Eze and Marino on the left side, I said this in one of my videos. I said that they're not players that are magnets to the ball. They're players that can go hiding and get very little touches in games because they're not that sort of player. They're players that prop up in them big moments and like link things up. But they're not players like an Odegaard who's, he's over here picking the ball up. He's got 100 touches. He's over here like a Rice. They're not that player. So like in this game, like a lot of the attack was Ben White pushing up. Miles had to play in a bit of a back three, which is just not where you want Miles, which I do think them problems that you said like come into play a lot. And that's where he was getting like one-on-ones against Ruta, who Ruta is a strong player as well. So like it's not a player that he can necessarily bully as much as some other players that he might have in the past. But yeah, I agree with that. And it's kind of the same sentiment I have a little bit with Marino. This is one of them games where if you said to me Marino played in this game up until the 60th minute, I would have said you're lying because I just didn't see him. He had a shot in the first couple of minutes and he skied it. But we never went down his side. We didn't build up particularly well. The press was all over the place, which isn't Marino's fault, but it just felt like Marino's a good connector. He's a good player to just connect things along like smoothly with good creators. And we had Eze and Waneri in this game. Like we should have that in hindsight, like in theory. But it just didn't really go like that. And like obviously Marino, yet again, like he does that incredible back kill for the first goal, which that goal was insane. But like other than that, he didn't really do too much in the game. But that is just and he almost scored late on from a corner, which is funny. But that is just a typical Marino thing. He is so
if
good.
You're going to explain someone what Marino's like as a player, to show them that
he's
match.
the most complicated player that we have in this squad. I've watched every Arsenal game like 4 times, and I still, if people ask me now, like, what is Marino? I go, well, he's a bit of this, bit of that. Like, I can't define.
What's your favourite position for him? Like, if you had to play him, where would you put him?
Probably up front.
Yeah, and I think I'm the same, mate. I just think he sometimes, I mean, it's not completely his fault, but we look more disjointed in midfield with him in it. And whether he's played, was it the City game that he played on the right half space? It was, wasn't it? The right side didn't function as well. When he plays in that left-hand side, it does kind of slow down. It doesn't work as well. We've got problems with that left-hand side anyway. So at least when he's up top, I'm like, well, I know he can finish. I know aerially he's really good. And he'll just kind of bring other players in. So like, I'm kind of happy. If I had to start him, I'd start him up front.
It's weird because he's good with certain players, I feel like. Like, I feel like when Marino plays with Odegaard, he's really good. I feel like they work with each other really well. And, like, because Odegaard is an all-phase player, in a sense, Marino is a little bit of a B-Tech, like, all-phase player. Like, I don't think he's a particularly great player anywhere away from the goal, but he is a player that does that stuff. He's decent in build-up in certain aspects. He takes risks on the ball. Like, he can do defensive work because of his height and physicality. He's not great at it, but he can do it if he has to. But obviously, he's the guy that's in that final third that is, like, electric in them areas. Not only a great passer and great connector, but great in the air, great at movement in the box. Like, so he kind of is like a little bit of a B-Tech Odegaard. I actually think they work really well together, but we're never going to really see that ever because of Zumendi and Rice now being in the team. And like Marino, it's so weird, Marino, because like, I think if you look at a full 90 of Marino, in 90% of his games, they're not brilliant, but he just has their moments, and Arsenal have been abide from their moments a lot of the time. So, like, even in this game, like I don't think he did a lot of things excellently. I don't think a lot of it was always fault either. Like a lot of the time, like he just wasn't in there. Like he couldn't
Doesn't
get
ever
anywhere
seem
near
to
it.
do anything wrong either, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
He's
never look at him and go, oh, like, we'll get onto Norgard in a minute. There were times where it just makes you like, oh, okay, let's go again. Come on. But
he's just not a very like fun player sometimes. But then he like turns up. Like at the end of the day, Marino's on the pitch to be that like a very intelligent. Well, also like I completely forgot, but he was our captain in this game. He is part of the leadership group, and I think that was an important part of him being
are
in
you
this team.
surprised by that?
It maybe a little bit, but like when he's alongside what Saka, Odegaard, Rice, and Gabriel. Like I think they are the four people I would say the main ones, and then I think I would probably I get that he's not been at the club that long, but he's relatively older. He's more experienced than a lot of players that we have.
He's meant to be very intelligent as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and he does seem like he's a player that sort of gets on with everyone by just the stuff I've seen. Like
I think the other thing, like people forget that he's been brought up through football. Like he's like football heritage in his family. Like so, I think part of that might come into it as well, where it's like, well, he understands what's like coming through as a youth player. He understands what's like and not making it at first. You know, he was written off. He understands what it's like to play for a big team, like nationally. He does really well. Like he's a moments player. You know, he's had big moments, big moments in his career. But
it's like you said there. Like I think as well. I think I've only watched this game twice, and I think if I watched it back and actually,
I've only watched it twice. I've only watched it once, mate.
If I watched it back and looked at Marino, I probably yet again would give him more credit. It's just one of he is actually very, very good off the ball, like all the time, pretty much. Like and I just it's just something that I just don't like. You don't really look at because of who he is. And the thing is, like he's not quick, he's not a great recovery player. If the ball goes past him, he's basically out of it, which is like one of the only players in our team that kind of has that bad tendency in a sense. But like there's so many other things he's so great at. And like this game did kind of feel like I know he's not the oldest player in our team by far, but it kind of felt like it was Marino and the kids. I don't know, I kind of got that vibe. And like when we scored the first goal and he's with Neri and Lewis Skelly, he puts his arm around him, I kind of just felt like, you know what, Marino's the captain today. He was the leader on the pitch. Like we kept it close, like it weren't his fault when we were doing bad. And in the end, he like turned up when we needed it to. So I'm not good at like fair play. Like he that's what he's there for. And I think if we win anything this season, Marino will be a big part of that, like because of these moments that we talk about.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we go, that moment, that's the one. Like I remember like a Canu goal, I remember like wheel tour goals, or you know, like players that weren't ever like the best players, but they came up with the goods. Imagine that with Marino looking back at some point.
Beast. I mean, like I like Marino. He does seem like a nice guy. Like I like every player that plays for Arsenal, but it's wow. Now I didn't necessarily last year.
I love this squad.
Yeah,
like I do. I look and even when this kind of brings me on to my next player, like Norgard. I look like long term, and I think, yeah, he's the obvious candidate of someone that we need to upgrade on. Like next summer, okay, let's go and get another player to kind of usurp him. Like it's obviously like a short term option of like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to play down his career. What he's done is more than 99% of players will, like more than 99% of players will. But he's come in as a very professional player, someone who's going to get his head down, someone who understands what his job entails. He can go in at any point, isn't going to make huge mistakes. Was a Premier League captain, who understands it from that stage. But I thought this game for Norgard, I was surprised how much he struggled at certain times. He seemed to be like 1 or 2 seconds behind play. Whereas in pre-season, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was really, really good. But this was like one of those ones where I went, oh, my concern is, one, is he quick enough, like physically? But also, I guess in this game, it looked like he was a bit like slow in terms of like watching the ball, understanding the play. But also, is he a player that at his stage of his career, he got to be playing regularly. You know how certain players can't just drop in and play. Like they have to be playing a lot to actually get up to speed. And I did have that concern during the game. I went, But then he's surrounded by all these other players who haven't played. Hincapier's making his debut. Like Ben White's been injured for ages. Kepa hasn't really played. You've got Ethan Winery, who's what? He's 17 or 18 now.
18.
Yeah. Max Dowman, a 15-year-old. You got a new up front. So, like, you've got players who are all around you who are not experienced and don't understand the system. And, you know, like, I think if you dropped him in instead of Zubimendi, for example, with our usual day squad, I think he'd be probably a lot better, probably look a lot easier. But he was the player for me. I think he had the poorest performance, which is so funny because you look at the ratings here from SofaScore, and you know he's right up there. But
because he's on the ball more. I think I'll give so much benefit of doubt for Norgard in this game because I think even in the games he's come on, he's been really good. Like against Atleti last week, he was excellent.
He
when
was.
He
was actually. I forgot that.
And I think like in terms of like. The reason why a lot of our problems happened in this first half is because of the forward three. Like, they didn't press, and Brighton had a huge amount of time of Jason Still, who's one of the best goalkeepers at passing the ball out, to just pick balls where they wanted and pull players out. And that absolutely just destroyed our midfield, like, completely. Like, I don't think our midfield was great in the first half. I think they were poor in terms of like build up, and I think Norgard gave the ball away too much. But he didn't have any options. We saw the same thing happen with Mosquera, where he gave the ball away because he's expecting an option inside. No one's there. We get pressed, and then we can't get out. And that's a certain aspect of Brighton playing a lot of like players that play a lot more this season, and us playing a lot of kids. And they're playing kids, but they spent 35 mil on their kids, and you know it's a bit different. Like they spent good money on their Greek players, but like in that ounce, like I think that Norgard also has the hardest role in this team. Not only has he got all these kids in front of him, we didn't have an out ball in the first half. We could not get the ball to a Noose or anyone. We basically had to get Max Dowman to come short to get anywhere. Which isn't Norgard's fault. I also think like in terms of like it's just a hard role to play. Like Zubimendi has been transformative for this team, but against Palace, Zubimendi weren't great. Like he struggled. He could not find gaps. He didn't really do anything. Like he kept picking the ball up deeper, and we kept doing our rotations, and then he didn't do passes because he was like he made a few bad ones, and that was it. And even then, like we almost conceded in that game as well from the same situations almost that Norgard found himself in this game. So I think it's one of them situations where like that's the hardest role I think in this team right now in terms of like it basically dictates how all our attack works. But you need players around you to help, and he didn't get that. And I think that's it's quite harsh on him in a bit. And I think he's 31 now. Like I don't think he's at the age he needs to play all the time. He played every Premier League game nearly for Brentford for like 4 or 5 years. I think like he would probably be expecting to calm down, but it might be a bit of a change for him to like adapt to that. But this has been like his only real bad game. Like in every game he's come on, in every game he started before this, he's been really good. So like it's just one of them. And I also think like I do look at the squad that Brighton put out on paper and look at our squad. And obviously our squad has an insane amount of talent, of course. Like we spent a good amount of money on some of these players, such as like Ben White, Hincapier, Eze. Everyone else is relatively academy or like a cheaper option. And like obviously Brighton have spent good money on their players, even if they are worth a lot more now than they bought them for. But like this is when I looked at this Brighton team, I was like, this is more first team Brighton than it is for us because they change their team all the time. Like people are like, oh, where's the wingers? But I'm like, you know, these wingers, these players, Ruter's a starter, Balaba's a starter, Gomez has started their last like 4 league games. Like, you know, Van Heck's a starter, Kadioglu's almost a star. He plays nearly every game. De Cooper's a starter. And then, oh wow, you've got a 35 mil striker that you bought. Wow. Instead of Danny Welbeck, and Simmons has started in the Prem. You know, Costalas has started in the Prem. Jason Still was their starting goalkeeper for 2 years when De Zerbi was there. You're not anymore, but he was. So I looked at that team and was like, that team's way more experienced at playing with each other than we are with a lot of our players. So I could see why them problems happen. But he was our poorest player. He did give the ball away a few times, and we got away with it. Like, we should have definitely conceded in this game. I have no idea how we didn't concede and kept that record going. But, like, yeah, it's just one of them games where, like, I want to move on to Ethan because I do think, like, I saw Ethan got man of the match, and develop him into like a more deeper player as well. But he really does. Sometimes he takes maybe too many touches on the ball. Like we were saying, he kind of needs them touches, but sometimes he takes too many. Even when he was going to shoot, I think there was a shot he had at the keeper just before he scored, and it was like he took way too many touches, rolled it into the keeper's arms. And I feel like in terms of a creator, like he didn't really do a lot. Like there's a chance, like a minute into the second half, where Max Dowman does the most insane back row I've ever seen in my life, and then like Ethan's running through. This is where you want Ethan, and Max is waiting for that pass. He doesn't pass it to Max, and then in the end, he just wastes what takes too long, and then shoots and gets blocked. I'm like, that's the situations where I expect you to be better from. But he did score a really good goal. I think Jason still should save it. I think most of the goal comes down to just our rotational play, and I think Marino, Mars does a brilliant job in it, kind of more than Ethan, but he did shoot first time. I don't know how many goals Ethan has scored. This is his 10th goal he scored for Arsenal. I don't know how many of them are first-time shots. I can imagine probably none. He never takes first-time shots. So I was happy to see him have a much better second half, but yeah, I think he struggled a bit in the first half, and he was supposed to be the main creator as well in this game.
I mean, I quite like the fact that in this game, he seems to be playing like more all phases rather than just a 10. They seem to be kind of going, actually, you need to play more like Martin Odegaard. You need to be able to pick up the ball in, you know, all areas and dictate the play a bit more. Like, I don't think it was an amazing performance. I saw some people like raving about it, and I thought, I don't know, like, I think Ethan's almost like the forgotten man at this point, which is crazy to say, but I think he came through and everyone was looking at him going, you know, my God, this guy is going to be the next big thing at Arsenal. And then lo and behold, suddenly Miles comes along, plays every game at left back. And then now we've got Max Dowman coming through. So everyone's looking at Max going, you know, this guy's another level up. So I do feel for Ethan in a way, but part of me thinks that's quite good for him. Takes the pressure off him a little bit. It'll give him some like an opportunity to grow and hopefully make mistakes when he can make mistakes, and you know, play in that way where it is important that players don't play with the shackles on, you know, especially in his position. So there are times where he did frustrate. I agree, like, you know, taking too many touches and doing better in certain areas, but I think on the whole, it's just nice to see his game growing, even though it wasn't his best performance, if that makes sense.
He's also been fantastic this season. Like in every cameo or game he's played in this season, he has been really, really good. Like I've actually have seen, like we were saying before, like that Odegaard role is becoming his thing. He is getting better. Like there is games in this where I little worry. Like sometimes I think the burden of making him the main creator and the main progressor of the ball is too much for him at the moment. I still think that against at least Premier League opposition, but
yeah.
He's been fantastic so far this season. I think he gets better with the better players around him, which is kind of the same as what we're saying with a lot of these players. And it's hard to kind of judge these games because not only have you got a lot of players coming in, but it's kind of like the Port Vale game when we played that. Because I know that was when everyone was very negative. They were like, oh, we didn't create anything against them. But if you look in that game, barring after the first 15 minutes, our team just stopped running. Saka did not do one sprint in that game. In this game, like we'll go into him now, but Eze, obviously he's the only starter from the weekend in this game. It is quite evident, like he did not run once, I don't think, in this entire game. He
coasted through that game.
He just walked around like it was nothing.
It was, I looked and I just thought, okay, I do get it, but I was looking at Eze going, you should be the guy that kind of takes the ball by the horns and goes, yeah, I'm going to make something happen here. And it was up to two of the youngest players on the pitch in Ethan and Max to kind of run the show. I think, I don't know, that whole left-hand side, you look at that left-hand side right now, and it's not the most functional left-hand side, which kind of explains why Miles wasn't kind of stepping into midfield as he usually would. But I don't know, I did my lineup, and I wanted Eze as the left 8 and then Trossard out on the left wing, just so we had some kind of more continuity. And I like Eze in the left half spaces as opposed to right half spaces. But when I looked, I went, oh, okay, left wing, let's see what he can do. But he just It's like he was just kind of going, you know what, get through this game, get some extra minutes under my belt, and whatever. I'm not bothered.
The thing is, Eze in the Prem is like, obviously he works a lot harder and does try, but he is in many ways a moments player. Like this left-hand side is a Marino and Eze moment side. We were never really going to progress the ball with these guys on there. Eze like is the reason, like, I've seen some people be critical of him, of like his pressing and stuff, and by far he was just walking in this game. But like we knew what we were getting when he came in. Like this was a guy that is just there for the moment and to be that like end product that we need in the final third. Basically to be everything Odegaard isn't. Odegaard's an all-phase player.
Which is exactly what he did against who was it? Palace.
Yeah, Palace and like the City game, like where we need something and he makes it happen. And that's so much of Eze. Like he will have the least amount of touches like in most games that he plays, but only if Marino's playing, because that's a competition. Who's going to have the least amount of touches? They're both players that don't have a lot. And they are just like, he's just not a player that like is that all phase player. Like Odegaard's a player that is all phase, incredible progressor, incredible defensive, incredible off the ball, and probably like a mid attacker, mid creative player. Like he's okay creatively, but he can't be your main creator at this level. He's probably a secondary. Eze is probably not good at any of that stuff, but as a creator, as a goal scorer, as someone in the box, he is supposed to be like that top of the notch of the Prem. And like he in some games he's been excellent, in some games he's been poor, but we saw it against Palace. Like we struggled to kind of find him inside the block. There was a few times that we did, and he got the ball, made a run, but he isn't someone that is going to find solutions. He will just stand in the same area until you pass him the ball and then try something. He's not going to be an Odegaard who goes, I'll go to left centre mid and find something, or Calafiori and I'll go to right wing and try and figure out something there. He's not that player, and he's never going to be. So like, it is when Eze plays in these sort of games, I find the same thing. Like, I found the same thing against Port Vale. He weren't the only one against Port Vale. We play a lot of a stronger team in that game because of injuries. But like, yeah, it's clear that he is saving himself, and I completely get it. He was the only starter that is probably going to play on the weekend, I would imagine, that is going to be in this team. And like, he's not a player that's going to work hard off the ball either. But yeah, like I was excited to see him left wing. That's why I kind of want him to play a little bit more in the future. I think a lot of people talk about how he can get the reins at left wing. Like EBL on Twitter was talking about it loads, and he just didn't get the ball ever. I didn't even like some of it is like down to progression of like Marino, like obviously not being, I'd say, a person that you really want to put next to Eze. I think that's just not a good combo. But like also, you know, he didn't really ask for the ball, so there's a certain level. I mean, in the second half he got a bit better. You know, he was getting found a lot more, I think, in behind and like trying to make runs and stuff. But I mean, obviously he contributed to the goal to an extent when we did really good rotations, which is funny because we talk about like Eze and Marino not really doing anything in the game, but then the first goal is from their side where they're both involved, and that is why they're on the pitch. Like, you know, I could be critical of maybe the performance as a whole, but ultimately they did their job and they created a goal and we scored it from their side, with all three of them being combining with it, with obviously even finishing it. So that's the main thing. And like, I mean, when some of the main players came on, we got so much better. As soon as Gabriel and Saka came on, I was like, oh my God, we look so much better. It's unbelievable. It was crazy.
Yeah, so true, isn't it? Let's go to Andre. So Harriman, a new. Is it a new or a noose? Another 17-year-old coming on for Arsenal. Of course it is. Making a start. I mean, I think quite a few people were, you know, surprised about this. But I mentioned about Sego Jr. I said, I wonder if he'll play. Yeah. And like out on the left, like could he be someone that we put in? You know, if you're kind of throwing caution to the wind.
He's never played another game. He had that one Brentford game, and that's it. You never see him
that's
again.
True. But I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw. I don't think he really gave an out ball. I think sometimes he could have offered himself a little bit more, and it's such a difficult game to come in. Like it really is. Like the team's cohesion is not going to be there. With 10 changes, it's not going to be there. And then you're playing against a really tough team. And I mean, I think he did pretty well. Like he showed me a few things that I haven't seen. I haven't watched like that much footage of him. But I said, you know, is he kind of like is he the the profile that we're missing. Like he's like a kind of taller, but that lanky, but like quick player. Like I like the Ekatike kind of player. I know he can play on both wings as well. I think he did himself proud. I think he was pretty good. And although he didn't really understand the press at times, I said it earlier, he just kind of gobbled up ground and suddenly that he's there. But on the whole, how did you feel about him?
So I did a video about this guy today. I basically like specifically watched him for a full 90, even going into the game, because I was like, I'm interested to see what this guy does, because I did actually speak about him when Havertz got injured in Feb, as I had a video of 5 options Arsenal have for striker, and he was one of them. One was Marino. We chose Marino. And like,
What were the other 3?
One was like,
Grossard?
yeah, probably. One was like Martinelli, I
Martinelli?
guess. One was Saka or Waneri. It would have been a false 9. That would have
Oh,
been one
yeah,
of my
Ethan. Yeah,
suggestions.
yeah. That makes
My
sense.
first suggestion though was Marino, and I said we should do it. And a week later, we played Leicester and we did it. So, and then I got so many people were like, I was like, oh god, clearly, because he's just literally.
We know Mikel watches.
He's
We know.
Havertz. But like, so this guy was part of that, but he was so young at the time, and he's not prolific in the Premier League too. He scored 2 goals this season in 7 games. He's not like. He scores a lot of pens as well for the academy. He's not like someone that is like a natural goal scorer. And in this game, like in the first half, there was certainly confidence problems, because he had that ball that bounced to him on the right-hand side, and he just did not take the guy on. And I was like, this guy's terrified, but fair enough. And he just did nothing in that first half. We could not get the ball out to him. He was not in the right areas. It was not great. But in the second half, he was genuinely good. Like I tweeted it, I said he genuinely played well, because the press was a mess. He did not press, like I said. He just did not get close enough to steal. He was so passive, but he can't press from the front. But his recoveries are excellent. He comes back. He won the ball back 3 times from 3 different tackles, where he literally just uses his lanky legs and just sneaks in his like foot into where the players aren't paying attention, taps it to someone, then runs past them. And when he's deeper, he is much better. In the academy, he's not known as like this guy that's great in the box, which is so funny when like I saw them tweets calling him Osimhen, and I was like, this guy's like the most opposite player to Osimhen. He kind of looks like him when he dribbles a little bit, but he's like the most opposite player in the world, because he is so good, like away from the goal in certain ways. He's a facilitator, like a Kolo Muani, like Ekatike type of player, like a creator, not a.
Oh, Kolo Muani's an interesting one.
Yeah, Kolo Muani in a 2. Like, that's why I think this guy in a 2 would work better than in a 1, especially in the setup that we have. But, like, some of his work deeper was really good. He was winning the ball back. He was working hard. Down the left, as they would play inside him and find Eze quite well, I thought. And I was confident, and it was so annoying because he actually, like, when the spaces opened up in the second half, when he was getting more confident, when he was getting more time with the ball, he was better. And then as he was about, like, he was hitting form, they brought him off, and I was like, at that point we were 2-0 up. I was like, just keep him on, like, who cares? Like, because he almost does score. It's funny the chance that Timber creates, because he actually thinks Van Hecker's going to intercept it. So he actually doesn't fully commit to the run. He like hesitates and it steps back. And then when he sees that ball goes through, he kind of like, oh, I've got to get there. And then kind of like is a bit late to it. And that's why it's like a hard finish and he kicks it at the goalie. But Saka mops it up. And honestly, like I made a video about him and I was like, I don't know if he'll be a player that ever plays for Arsenal again. I don't know if that's where the direction of him. He's super young still. He needs to get a loan next year.
Definitely wants
but
to
he's at least one of the bigger talents we have in the academy, and like I think that second half was a good half. I think if you put him in a 2 up front with someone else, he'd be really, really good, and I'd like to see it. Like if it's not even for Arsenal, for someone else, I think that's a good way of developing him.
Final one, Max Dowman. Right,
yeah, I mean
how many? Honestly, right now, how many clubs in Europe would he start for? If you were just going again, don't care about the age, I'm not worried about his development and getting injured or anything like that. He starts for most clubs, surely. He's unbelievable. And I think over the next year or two, you're going to have people going, Bakay's going to go on the left. Like, I genuinely, I honestly think that will start being a conversation. People go, actually, Saka moves to the left and Dowman goes to the right. That will be a conversation. Whether or not that's the right idea, or people start going, well, Saka comes inside, but that would make sense. Saka goes to the left, and then you've got a true winger out there, and he's just Max Dowman is so good.
He's probably the best dribbler on our team, barring maybe Saka. I genuinely think he's that good as a dribbler.
His drop of the shoulder is unreal, isn't it?
He's just so unpredictable, and maybe that's a certain aspect of like we haven't watched him enough. At this point, like even though I think Saka is so smart and very unpredictable, you kind of have an idea of what he's going to do. So I've watched so much of him, but Max Dowman, I just don't even know how to explain it, but his dribbling, like in any situation, he finds ways to make it work. He'll be out wide in that sort of wider winger, what we talk about, makes one touch, goes past the player, which Saka did really well the last couple of weeks. But it's not just that, there's 3 players on him. He's like just keeping the ball so well. He can go inside, he can go outside. Like we didn't really see much in this game in terms of like everything else. Like we didn't see him like cross the ball. We didn't see him part because we didn't have an outlet. Like Anus was getting swallowed up in the middle, so it's hard to kind of find that. And it would have been fun to see him with a Gyökeres or maybe even like a creative player like Waneri getting more into the game, and that would have been fun to see. But in terms of like, I think his weight of pass to Ben White was really good in the first half. Like I think he used the overlap a lot, and that's something I love. I love using the overlap because I feel for our fullbacks that have to run up the pitch and they don't get past to. Yeah. So I'm big for that. And then dribbling wise, unbelievable. He won so many duels, and it's because he just takes everyone on all the time. That I mean, we spoke about it earlier, but that back kill he does to Waneri on the how he even gets that? How is that even possible? When I watched that, I was like, how has that happened? The thing is, we didn't take that chance, and I was critical of Waneri. But if you do that around we talk about world-class players that Arsenal have in their team, we are going to be unbelievable. And this is Max Dowman's first start. He has to play more. Madueke is not back until Tottenham, it looks like. So he won't be there for Burnley, Slavia Prague, and Sunderland, which are our next 3 games. We've got to give Max Dowman some sort of minutes off the bench in them games. He has to play. He's that good. And Arteta said the other day, he said that if I looked at his passport, I wouldn't play him, but then I watch him in training, and you just have to. And I watch him in these games, and I'm like, in that first half, he was our best player by far. And I was like, that's crazy. He's 15. He's 15.
Yeah. There was one point where he almost took it past 3 players into the box to get a shot off, and he just get I thought, oh my God, if he could just, it's a matter of an inch, get past, he'd probably rifle it. And we've seen it, youth, good. And he's not even a player who's fun to watch and you go, wow, but he hasn't got end products and stuff, because we know he does. And he baits these fouls. He understands, he's clever enough to win penalties. We saw him do it in pre-season. He almost won one in this game as well. And so he's an intelligent footballer. He's already quite cool, quite strong, especially considering he's 15. But do you know what my favourite part was? It wasn't even the back heel. It was the part where Buscagli comes to the touchline, and Max knows he's not going to win the ball, and he's fed up of being fouled. And he kind of just jumps up on his back and just pushes him over. And I thought, oh, that's quite nice. A little bit of dig in the back, a little bit of spite, because I think players need that sometimes. I don't think you can get right to the top if you're super nice. You've got to show a little bit of edge. And I know Bukayo Saka's shown that. The penalty where he did the Panenka, it didn't quite come off. I'd like that still, because it was oh, okay. We're showing a little bit of self-confidence now of actually I can do what I want. And I think the top echelon of players should be doing that. I mean, Yembele, welcome, mate. He is saying he'll play against Sparta. He should be.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd play.
Well, I wonder, by that time, with the matches we've got coming up, let me have a little look what we've got here. Let me bring them up. So we've got Burnley next, haven't we?
Yeah,
and then it's straight into Slavia,
it's
and then
Slavia.
4 days after it's Sunderland and Tottenham.
And then it's international break after Sunderland.
Yeah.
And we come back for Tottenham and then got Chelsea.
Tottenham, Bayern. Yeah,
I just
Tottenham,
think
Bayern,
like
Chelsea.
playing a 15-year-old away in a country which is going to be very hostile is probably like something that Arteta is not going to do.
That's true.
Unless we're like 4-0 up at half time and then he's like, oh yeah, well, I'll just put him on.
I mean, yeah, bring him in. Like, I think if we're winning comfortably, then try bring him in.
He might not make the bench though, because like we do see a lot of our team rotate in the UCL. Like we have UCL players like Martinelli.
Has he been in the squad? He wasn't in the squad last time, was he?
Martinelli. If our injuries, if Martinelli's not back fit, if Saliba's not back fit for that game, then he will be on the bench, 100%. Like there'll be room for him somewhere but like the thing is, after Sunderland, after the international break, the rumours are that Madueke is going to be back. Havertz might be close to getting back, and Odegaard might be close to getting back as well if Norway don't just keep trying to play him all the time. And if they're all back, then I just don't think he gets in the squad at that point. So it's kind of like
I've got here the likely dates that people are coming back. So we're looking at kind of for Martinelli, it will be around that time, and William Saliba, which is perfect. So they should be kind of
that's not
now.
That's not confirmed though. We just don't know because Saliba and Martinelli picked their injuries up last weekend. There's been no talk about it. Like that's why a lot of this stuff is like up in the air. Like I'm pretty sure that Madueke is going to be back for Tottenham after the international break. And that's the only thing I'm sure of. I don't know, like Saliba might. I've heard that Saliba and Martinelli probably aren't that long, so it's probably not. They probably might be back for at least Sunderland, you would hope. But if they're not going to, we might do our typical thing where we're like, Saliba's still injured, France, and then he doesn't play against Sunderland, so he doesn't go on international break, and then we play him against Tottenham, sort of
we
thing.
We don't do that enough. Like, historically, we have not kept players back off international duty enough. I do wonder with Saliba, because he's had such a rough time with Deschamps that, I don't know.
Well, these players want to play for their country, don't they, though? Like, that's the thing. And the thing is, we're so good that all of our players are like the top echelons. Like, the whole Gabriel talk's been dominating Twitter recently, where 2 years ago, every Brazilian fan was like, Bremer was better. I remember having a conversation with a Brazilian fan about Bremer and Gabriel in 2023 about who was better. And I just was like, well, I think you're using Gabriel wrong if you're somehow getting to the conclusion that Bremer, who plays in a back five at Juve, is better. And then now they're talking about how Gabriel's a certified starter. He's been excellent. He's like one of the only good players because Brazil aren't that good at the moment. Saliba's a starter for France now. He wasn't a starter for years. And it's like, I could see these guys don't want to come out of the team because if they do, then they might lose that spot to someone else with all the other players in their big nation. So I kind of get why they want to play. It's the same with Saka. I think Saka is security, but Rice plays every game for England, and I wonder if
he plays every minute.
I wonder if he thinks that I think that England's long-term future is Rice with someone like Anderson or Wharton or whatever, but maybe he thinks, I don't want to come out of the team because maybe they find a better partnership. So I get it. It's tough, but at least I prefer them going, because I've watched a lot of England games recently and I always have to worry about injuries, but I've watched them all and I've gone there's no one even trying. Like I watched the England and Serbia game and we were 4-0 up and no one even tried to run at that point. And I was like, that's good. No one's trying. No one's going to get injured. So I was like, if it's like a friendly,
guys.
I think every player is so wary of getting injured now that even in these friendlies, they're kind of being a bit more hesitant on. So
yeah.
I just hope that it's fine. If all these players come back, Dowman's not going to make the bench realistically, but I think
that's true. The 23rd is Tottenham, so it's so interesting that Odegaard, Havertz, and Madueke all have that date. I don't think Kai Havertz would be put in a matchday squad at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I reckon he would maybe back full training and stuff. But Odegaard and Madueke, I think they would be, and I think Saliba and Martinelli will be. So
That's why Max Dowman has to play minutes in the next week, because we've got 3 games. This is the one time that we don't actually have our players back yet that we know of. Like, maybe Havertz hasn't come back for ages, but like from what we kind of are alluded to and know, that these players like Odegaard, I mean Saliba and Marte don't look like long-term injuries anyway, but Madueke has been talking to back basically anyone that speaks to him that he's going to be back for Tottenham. So like I think Max Dowman has to get some minutes against Burnley and Sunderland and Slavia Prague. I do think Sunderland is a tough team though. Like they are playing really well at the moment. They have some really good players. So that's not a game where I'd just be like, oh, let's put Max Dowman in off the bench because it's like we're gonna win easy. Like I feel like I'm more alluding to like Burnley at the weekend and maybe Slavia Prague in Czech Republic, but it's always risky abroad.
So Victor Gyökeres finally getting a rest, because we know internationally he's not going to get any rest, and we can't really take him out of the team right now. There's another player, although he's not, playing his best football, he has got to play all these minutes. So we've got to find ways that we can start, just deloading some of these players.
I don't know. You never know with Graham Potter. He might just come in and be like, because they're not even playing for anything. They're bottom of their group. They only think they've got a playoff in March because of the whatever the Nations League to qualify for the World Cup. So these games actually don't mean anything. They've already messed it up.
I mean, with Sweden, who's going to play. Like, like who shall I put in my team? I wonder if Gyökeres should play, especially when he's injured.
Well, I don't know though. Like Sweden have good players. Like Gyökeres didn't play. I
know, but you know what I mean. Like their squad more or less picks itself. I mean, they're not going to have like massive.
Kind of, but they played Elanga up front for ages, and he was pretty good there because he's fast, and they could. I mean, I don't even know if Elanga's fit. I just never hear about him. But
Gyökeres isn't going to be dropped out the full squad, is he? By the time
but he could sit on the bench if they're like trying to test things out. If they're
No, I completely agree. What I mean is, I'm kind of supporting you. I think like you just he'll be in that squad. Isak, if he's fit, he'll be in that squad. Like, there's no point. It's not like with us in terms of England going, do you put Water in? Do you put Anderson in? Like, we've already got Declan Rice. Like, do you want to play Palmer as your 10? Do you want Bellingham as your 10? Are you going to try and play? Like, there's so many questions. Like, Foden, do you even want him in the squad? Because he never performs for England. I think for Sweden, it's a lot easier. So maybe we could get him some rest. Oh, I won't hold my breath. Right. Let's go to the next part, because this is a fun part, mate.
I do a quick before we get into that. Did you see
I am a teacher, but you don't have to put your hand up. It's all right.
Did you see the reports that Arsenal might have 100 mil to spend in January?
I did see this.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
And I heard Vinicius isn't very happy. So,
I don't want him. I don't care.
I'm so glad you said that, because I just don't like him.
There's just the thing is, like, he is one of the best in the world, but there's so many good left wingers that aren't dickheads. Like, we could just get someone that's not a dickhead.
Sorry about Reece, his language.
He's still going to cost so much. Like, he's going to cost so much, and it's not worth it. Like, we need a central midfielder. Like, Buadi is right there for January. Right there. I've been watching more of him.
And he's not going to cost 100 million.
No, I've been watching more. I actually love Lille. I watch Lille all the time. They're really fun because they have Igaman up front. He's one of my favorite strikers. He used to play for Rangers. But like he's so good. Like, they lost the other day, and I watched him. I was like, he's still good. Like, we should just get him in. I mean, I don't know how much that's going to cost in January. If we went in January and went, we've got 20 mil. What are you saying, Lille? Or even like 30 or 40.
I was going to say 30 mil. Get it done.
Yeah, it'd be like Lille.
It makes sense. If he was in the Premiership already, he costs far more than 30 mil.
And that's the thing. That's the whole like Euro situation, isn't it? Like, if you don't buy Euro for 30 mil now, you're never going to get him because he's going to cost so much. And it's like,
yeah, exactly.
And also we've got good. We've done a lot of business with Lille. Some good, some bad. But like, we'll say to them, remember that like favor we did with Pepe for 72 mil. Do you want to give us some benefit of the doubt? We also did take your defender for 20 mil, and now he's like the best defender in the world. But we don't look at that. But like, I mean, there's midfielders out there. I know people have been talking about Ugame as well from Seville.
Mhm.
I haven't watched Seville at all. I don't think they're a very fun team, so I'm not going to watch them. So I could
Yeah,
tell you.
I feel that he hasn't been as good this season. But Wadi's, yeah.
I mean, Seville were just a bit of a mess, but Lille were like the sort of team where they're like, every game is crazy. They won a game 7-1 or 7-2 or something to Laurent. And it was funny because I've seen people go, oh, PSG have one of the best clean sheet records in Europe. Yeah, they didn't even keep a clean sheet to Laurent, who lost 7-2 to Lille. Like, what a league. But yeah, like I think there's we spent so much in the summer. I don't think it's like necessarily probably going to happen. But if the club have any sort of money, in my opinion, you buy a centre mid, maybe maybe you sneak in a Semenyo if you've got 100 mil. If you want to spend 70 mil on Semenyo, cool. But if that's not the case, then we'll just wait. Yeah, I mean, Yildiz is not gettable. Juve have got.
I know. Guy. I'm just like throwing out like
he's on a free 360 contract. That guy's never going to be able to leave.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think a central midfielder, maybe a centre back. Again, just because if Ben White's not reliable, you move Mosquera to right back a bit more and then buy another centre back, or maybe just play Salmon more. Actually, no, I want to play Salmon. I'd rather develop Salmon. Actually, I think
he was in England squad, wasn't he? He's doing well.
Salmon's
doing well.
Really
Another player coming through.
His passing is unbelievable. I actually want to see him progress. I actually want to keep, I actually wouldn't want to buy another centre back just through that. Personally, I don't know what other positions we could buy. That's probably
another left back. And that's not even a joke. Actually, no. Because if you're looking, I'm just thinking of like the makeup of the squad. If Arteta was going to actually, Miles is my player that I'm bringing into midfield, then we go get another left back. And I mean, I could understand it from that point of view. But again,
also get a centre back,
is probably
and do the same thing because you could have
so many options there. That's the one good thing is that this squad is made up so well now that any additions now, it's fine. And I'll be happy with anything because I'll look and go, okay, I can understand that. And most likely they're going to be someone quite big, quite quick, sound on the ball.
I feel like we should. I feel like defenders are calm. I feel like I was thinking about it, but I feel like just bring up Salmon. He should just be like the. I know he's super young, but I think he should just be. We should just put our eggs in him.
The obvious is left wing in midfield, isn't it? If you're doing like
and
for
left
like,
wing might not be possible.
It's like Trossard and Martinelli.
But even if it's like some young talents, because last January, I know we didn't make any business, but the big talk was like we were trying to get Caritas from Genk, who's still there. He's like incredible in FM. It's unbelievable. There's a guy called Karabashvili who's a left back. He plays for Dynamo Tbilisi in Georgia. He's great. He's also amazing on FM. There's like I know all the young talents now because of FM.
I was gonna say, I can tell you are like just absolutely killing the hours at the moment just playing
I've
FM.
only played like 3 hours of it, but I've done videos of Wonder Kids, so I know like all these insane Wonder Kids around Europe now that I wouldn't have known that aren't in the top 5 leagues. And like, I mean, I'll be one like, I mean, we spoke like before. Arsenal were looking at that Bayo guy from Frankfurt, the winger, the left winger. So I wonder if we're gonna spend January doing a Congo January where we just go, we're gonna buy some young talent and. You're not necessarily going to play right now. Some of you might go on loan, but we're going to hedge our bets on you.
Like players that are going to stay for loans until the summer, then come in, we'll evaluate, and then do you go back out on loan or do you stay with the squad?
Even if like Boumadi and you go, right, we're going to do a deal where we get you in the summer and we agree it, like you go on loan for Lille for the rest of it because Lille were like, oh, we want to keep him. And we're like, well, we do have Norgard here at the moment. I know people might not be exactly most happy with Norgard, but we do have enough depth on paper. Like I was thinking, like if Zubimendi does get injured, who would play there? And I was like, you probably just give Miles a go there, like maybe, like, or you probably what he will do is he'll move Rice back, and then he'll put like Marino in or Eze in, and play him with Odegaard or something like that. Which is what I said in the summer. And I got criticised so much because of it, and I was like, Rice is not a DM. I was like, Rice will play there.
Yeah, but he'll play there because it's the
We're not gonna play Norgard over him, and everyone's like, yeah, we will. We're not. I've watched both of them. I don't think we will.
I throw another one out, a centre forward, and the reason for this is if there's another injury setback with Havertz, I can imagine we
Yeah.
look and then we go, do you know what? This has happened now for 2 seasons. We've got to have some kind of contingency plan because unless they just go, let's go get a midfielder and Marino is that player now. We're just officially going, like, you are our forward
It would have
backup.
to be a project striker. I don't think we should
Yeah,
be going
yeah.
out there buying like a 25-year-old. Like, it would have to be some young striker that's kind of had a good season. I do think that's like, I mean, I don't necessarily know what the future of Anus is, but maybe that kind of pushes him out the club a little bit if we do sign like a project striker over him. There is a few like okay strikers out there. There's still not any that are really catching my eye too much. Like last year, like some of the underrated strikers, they'll just get bored. Like Bonnie he scored 6 goals for Parma last year, but when you watched him, he was genuinely incredible. And now he's at Inter and he's insane. It's like, oh great. Well, I was like, what can we do? Like every striker that has half a good season just goes to a top team. So there's no good strikers out here. Maybe we should just go to the championship and get some. Like why is is it Hackney? He's still in the championship, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to go to a team. Never did go to a team. He's a big talent. I just never did. I don't get that stuff. We don't really go in their markets, but it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
To see.
I mean, I can't see us spending 100 mil unless there's like a massive push or an injury crisis or something.
Unless it's like Semenyo, I can't see us really spending that money.
Yeah, say if you did get Buadi and Semenyo, which, you know what, it's not out of the realms of possibility, but I think something would have to happen for Semenyo to go at January and for us to go for him.
Might have to sell a left winger.
Yeah, like say if there was like a
stockpile the ball for 6 months and then we get rid of one in the summer. That'd be so funny.
I'd be fine with that.
Because I mean, Trossard's a starter at this point. He's a Premier League star. He plays every Prem game.
Yeah, and he was our most used attacker last year, so
plays loads.
Yeah. Right. Next thing. So we're going to go into this now. So off of transfers and on to our favourite, Jamie O'Hara, everyone's favourite radio host. Mate, before I even get into what he said, have you seen him on The Bachelor? Have you seen the clips of that?
No, I don't think so. But I did hear his.
Mate, honestly, it's one of the most cringeworthy things I have ever seen. So essentially, I think he's an American bachelor. And so he goes on and he kind of pretends that he's, I don't know, like Wayne Rooney or something, like he's been a footballer and he's like a national treasure. And then he goes on about like, oh yeah, I've also got the Europe's biggest radio show and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not like you're not like the big G who everyone's going, oh yeah, I love Jamie O'Hara. Yeah, it's awful to watch, honestly, mate. It's hilarious. But nevertheless, let's move on from that part. So there is a video, and I'm going to try to share a few clips from this. We're going to do like a live commentary of Jamie O'Hara because obviously there's been a lot of talk from him about Arteta not being in the top 10 managers. He's also saying that we're boring to watch and we're ruining football. We're killing football. Also that we can only score from set pieces, possibly long throws. I think he's got something about long throws against us.
When we're awful at him.
And we've gone and we've won 2-0. Both open play goals. We haven't conceded anything all month. And the one shot on target wasn't a shot on target, but I'm not going to get into that again because I will lose my mind. So let's have a little look at what Jamie O'Hara has been saying, shall we? Because, he's got so much to talk about here. What is it that he's going to be talking about? Let's see. So, what is he wearing? Jamie O'Hara rants.
Tonight against Brighton. I have to say, I don't know how Brighton fans feel about this, but is he? Yeah, it hurts a lot. But if you're on YouTube, you can see what he had on. If you ain't in the game.
Okay, so can you hear that, Reece? Yeah,
just about.
He's talking about what Hertzler's wearing? I mean, I know that we would do it on this show, but then we're not in Europe's biggest talk show, and it just
Europe's biggest talk show is getting 23,000 views in 23 hours on a YouTube channel that has 1.7 mil subs by not clickbaiting. Wow, what a big channel! Me sitting in my room gets more. Me sitting in my room gets more views than that. Like what? What? Like it's just so stupid. The only way that like radio is a dead medium.
Roasting from Reece, I love it.
Radio is a dead medium, but the only way it succeeds is literally clickbait. And like we talk about mainstream media really like leaning into this clickbait era. It started from radio. These radio shows were like nothing. Like they have been nothing for such a long time. TalkSport is the only one I really know that exists, and it's only because they were like absolutely rinsed when I was at uni because of just the amount of just stupid stuff that they would say all the time just to get clicks or reviews or reacts. They get unlikable people on their show on purpose. I don't think anyone that goes on these shows like all the time is likable. Like I'm not gonna I'm gonna not say what I was gonna say about some of the people on there, but some of these people are just very unlikable, and like I just think it's so funny when like these people are clearly got a big ego. Like I think any footballer, any like former pro of anything kind of has an ego in a sense, but it's about how you deal with that, about how you deal with that with people you're around. Like not always gloating all the time, but you know, you could be proud of yourself and not be egotistical. And and there's a certain thing here where they always do think they're better than anyone. Like it's the same thing of like, I mean, it's British culture. Just everyone thinks they're better than everyone. That is just how this country is based on, just generally. So no one can be happy about anything. If someone else doesn't like something, that's a problem. Oh yeah, great. Like and it's just
sometimes
like,
you get like put down for even praising someone else, which is really odd.
It's just
so strange.
In America, like I watch so many American content creators and they do stuff like farm and like they farm for subs and make money off them and all their chat like farm us. We want to be fun. In the UK, if you ask anyone to do anything or oh, if you guys like the content, please like and subscribe. They're like, I'm not liking. There's this guy. It's just everyone in this country is so negative about everything all the time. And they
by the way, everyone. While Reece has said that, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the Forward and Football channel.
If they watch it back, if we say subscribe, it might light up. So keep saying it. But like, I don't know even what Jamie O'Hara even is. Like, he's done so much to. Well, didn't he play for Billericay FC to like for money because he like because he was like it was basically a publicity thing. Cause no one cared about him. It's the same thing we see over and over again. We're like Robbie Savage was on radio and stuff, and I don't hate Robbie Savage like that much, but I know like 10 years ago, like he was so dumb. And no one cared.
Hasn't he got like a Gucci tattoo or Chanel tattoo or something like that? Robbie Savage. I'm pretty sure he does. I mean, each their own.
Well, if
I am going to say,
cheek, I would find that funny. But if
you know,
like
they say,
serious,
don't judge a book by its cover. There's sometimes you do have to, unfortunately.
Well, the thing is as well, like no one has particularly cared about him for 4 to 5 years now, and now he's gone into management. I don't even know if anyone's noticed, but he has, because no one cares about him on the media. Like his time is up, and like, you know, you have to sit in this clickbaity era and just say stupid stuff all the time. Why are we getting people like Charlie Austin and like these like mid-tier Premier League strikers that are just saying, when have you been good enough to be a pundit? Oh, you played football at a pro level. Like, if I speak about anything, everyone's like, well, you didn't play football, you don't know. But it's like, well, these guys have never been in the media world. They've never done this. It's a completely other side of the bargain. But no one gives them no one says to them, oh, you don't know what you're doing.
Some of the worst coaches I have ever known have been some of the best players. And some of the best coaches have been the worst players. Like,
it's also different eras, isn't it?
There's no like correlation.
20 years ago, football is very different to now. And if you don't like watch it and consume or want to learn football nowadays, it's going to be a different ball game. There is still so many people that shout at their goalkeepers because they're passing the ball out. We're in 2025. Every team does it to build the press up. That's how it works. If not, you're just going to give the ball to the other team from a long kick. Like, maybe not, but you do. If your team's not set up for it, you will do that. And like, there's stuff like that. I'm like, it's just people not adapting, and it's something this country always so really struggles with. And I just don't get it. Like Jamie O'Hara, the last like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's just all the time talking about us all the time about just something. He's not happy. He's boring. And I someone else said something about us being boring. And I tweeted about it, and I was like, who cares? Who actually cares if we're boring? I'm so sick of like a lot of people. It was Jeff Sterling said it, and like
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
I just don't get, like, I don't know. I think it's so much entitlement, but I see so many people that are very well respected in the scene, and people that I even respect, and they go, "You should be entertained by football. It's an entertainment." Yeah, but that's not necessarily how footballers think when they play, because you don't become a footballer at 6 years old to be like. Not everyone does it to become an entertainer. Not everyone becomes a YouTuber because they want to be an entertainer. A lot of people just want to make money and be famous. They don't care about making other people happy. That's not what it's about for everyone. And it's the same with like football. Like it's a football. Football genuinely is supposed to be fun when you play it and you consume it. But at the highest level, where it's 0.0001% of people make it, it doesn't become that. It's a competitive game where these people want to win and create legacies and be and create their own history within their life. They're not thinking about the thousands of people that are watching them every game.
Mate, you're so right there, because at its core, it's a sport. Like, ironically, I've just put out a thumbnail for a Canon podcast of WWE, which is like, they call it sports entertainment because they know it's not a real sport. There's no real competition. We're well aware, like, it's not, it's not something real. But football is, and it's people's livelihoods. Imagine, like, you have trained since you are, essentially like a little tot. You've grown up, you've been playing every single day, training for this moment. You get through to the highest, like the pinnacle of the sport, and then you've got someone going, "Oh yeah, it's not entertaining enough." Like, sorry, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to win. Like, when I get to a World Cup final, I'm trying to put the ball on the back of the net to win a World Cup. I'm not here to showboat, essentially. Like, and don't get me wrong, I grew up watching that Brazil team with Carlos and Cafu and Rivaldo and like Denilson doing loads of stepovers. But at the core, they were a team that won. Like, there's a difference. And if you watched the Brazil team play now, I mean, they haven't got like a samba gene in them or between them, but if they start doing rainbow flicks and all this and they're getting pelted, it's not going to go down well. Like, I just think it's just so frustrating. Right, let's go. Let's go into it, because I think we've given Jamie O'Hara a bit of heat here. He's saying about Hertzler and what he's wearing. Let's just check, because maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, Reece.
What is he wearing? What is he wearing? I don't think you can turn up. Like, you ain't Pep. You a game like that.
Why is it, right? First of all, of course he's not Pep. Why is it that only Pep can wear what he wants then?
Like, it's the same thing though. Like, the thing is, like, I get the whole tongue-in-cheek thing. He's like ranting about his outfit. Who really cares? I think the certain aspects of it is that, like, if your show was based on it being like a low-hearted thing, like ours is in many ways, where we just talk, there's not that many people watch it. It's just a chill chat about Arsenal and other things that we want to talk about, so we can move on to these things and talk about it. So if you want to have that sort of show, you have that. Like, there's so many people, especially like on YouTube stuff, who I just think know nothing about football, who have hundreds of thousands of people watch them because they're like somewhat entertaining or funny. Fair enough, that's their job. They want to be entertaining. I don't want to do that. I want to know everything and then speak about it rather than doing that. And there's just different sides of it. But like, the thing is, he can have these conversations and do this, but then he still genuinely deep down thinks he knows everything. And like, the thing I have the problem with is, like, he could just take, like, like an SNL skit or a typical American like show where they take the piss out of people, but it's not.
He could have worn a similar outfit.
It's not that deep. Yeah, it's not like, oh, if it's that deep. But when I just think a lot of the UK is like this, where when they try and pick fun of people, it does come in a very like negative light. It comes from a very distasteful place a lot of the time, especially on this like media, and like it winds up other people, because they just get annoyed with the amount of like disrespect that you show people. Like, I don't care about this, but it is like, why has he got to compare this to other things? Why has he got to do this? And it's the same with anything. Like, he can't have if Arsenal lost, he'd be going in at Arsenal. He can't say anything about Arsenal, so he's finding something else to make fun of. Wow, yeah, great views that got. No one cared. And it's just like, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. It's the same thing with this whole set piece thing for Arsenal. Like,
and
let's find
that's
something.
the most frustrating thing for me, because this could have been an opportunity for him to hold his hands up and go, do you know what? In hindsight, Arteta is a top manager. You know, I'm still not going to put him at number one, but he's a top manager. And he could go, wow, as much as I don't find them entertaining, they've gone a whole month without conceding a goal. And that's playing some top teams like Atletico Madrid in the Champions League and going and beating them 4-0 because, you know, that wasn't entertaining. Or Eze's goal from a set piece because, you know, that wasn't an entertaining goal, a scissor kick. But, you know, he could have actually taken this as an opportunity. But instead of doing that and addressing anything to do with Arsenal, he's then gone, I'm going to dig my heels in, I'm going to ignore Arsenal, and then I'm going to start going on about this. I just think like, like, if I was an employee of TalkSport, the thing that would annoy me the most is, even if I wasn't an Arsenal fan, I would be looking, going, really? Like, you're getting the airtime, you're getting the money. Like,
it's so funny because
what are you offering us?
It's so funny because we're speaking about this, and I literally just went on Twitter, and everyone's memeing Jamie O'Hara for doing the 6-7 meme on Sky Sports, and it's like, I don't know if you know that meme. It's probably really too.
Oh yeah, I do for the children. 6-7.
But like, and like everyone in the comments is like, this is why I'm done with this stuff. Like, let's get a stick. And like, I do find it funny because it's like, if anyone else did that meme, he'd criticize them, but he's allowed to do it because it's him. And it's just like, I just hate that thing.
Yeah, that's so true.
I do things that
so true.
I do things that and say things that people would not say or would not do. And like, I get criticized for it. But when people do stuff that like I think is a bit weird and stuff, I maybe be like, that's a bit weird. But I don't like go on this whole rant. I don't have to speak publicly about it. Like, you just talk to your friends about it and be like, well, this is weird. Like, this is a weird thing that happened. But it just seems so, like, everyone has so much more entitlement nowadays in everything. Like,
which is hilarious because we're both talking about it right now.
I mean, yeah, I guess it is. But like in the media, it's like everyone just expects like things that they want. Like, so many of the times, like, it happens all the times in video games. You'll play a video game, you'll be like, oh yeah, not the best, but I enjoyed it. And then you'll watch someone and be like, anyone who plays this should die. You know, it's awful. It's like, what? It's not, come on, it's not that bad. Like, it's not that deep at the end of the day. Like, why do you care about other people's lives like that? And it's just always like that. And like, the whole set piece thing for Arsenal, I get that we score a lot of our goals from set pieces. That is fair enough. Like, yes, I get that. But there has been so many times we have created a decent amount of chances and we haven't taken them. I know our XG is low overall, but also, who cares? We're really good. Like, if you don't watch Arsenal, and that's what your conclusion is, fair. But I watch Arsenal all the time, and we are actually a good team. We deserve to win all the games we play. No one ever gets anywhere near us in defense, and that is a part of the game. Attack and defense is two parts of it. It's not just attack, and then not defend like the Bundesliga. Like there is parts of this game where you do have to defend.
There's been so many years gone by where we have been criticized for being too soft, for not being rigid enough, not being able to hold out teams. And, you know, all this pretty football that Arsenal play, and they've got all these diminutive players. And now we've got physical specimens. Now we're locking out teams, not just getting clean sheets as well. Stopping teams from even getting shots on target in consecutive matches. Like, just lockout. And you look at the comments of all the top managers, and they are all saying the same thing of Arsenal can play in every single way. They find answers to any question you ask of them. They are the most complete squad. They're the most complete tactical team. Like, why is it that then you've got the mainstream media all jumping on this bandwagon of, oh, Arsenal are boring. Oh, Arsenal only score from set pieces. Like, I understand they've got to make money, but it would just be so nice if at times we got some top managers in and actually they analysed it. I would find that so much more appealing and interesting. Like, I would be like, you know what, I'm going to tune in. They had on TalkSport, they had some really good managers that have just kind of, you know, they could even be employed managers. We're going to say just come out of a job. But why can't we get more employed managers coming on for like a quick talk and just go, okay, thoughts on Arsenal? You know, tell us why you find it so difficult. Tell us why, you know, you're setting up differently against them to any other team. Like there was the whole thing Jamie Carragher put out, and rightfully George from the Cannon podcast put out, oh, that's funny. That's funny because Arsenal aren't playing like sitting back, like you're saying. We've got the highest line in the Premier League. And it's like, it completely blows that narrative out of the water.
Yeah.
You're saying this stuff, but it's not even true. And
it's just trying to find an angle, isn't it? Like, that's all
just
this
something
is.
to beat us, you know, stick to beat us with.
Like, the set pieces is like a valid thing. We have scored probably way too many of our percentage of goals from a set piece. So everyone is jumping on that now because maybe there's some sort of truth to it. Despite, like, if you look at it in full context, it makes a lot of sense and it's fine because, you know, every team sucks as well and we're actually playing well. But, like a lot of it is just they need to find a story all the time. There is so much in football that makes their own stories in games. I don't know why they always have to manufacture everything. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine watching something and consuming something other than football that would be this sort of manufacture. F1 is the exact same, and that's why I don't really like F1 and all the bickering and stupidness and all the crying on Twitter and all the just. I just don't care about that. I just want to watch the racing, have my own opinions, talk about it, and then talk about with normal people that are like, yeah, it's not that deep because it isn't that deep to me. I don't find Formula One that deep. I mean, other than the fact that I lose £100 if Lando wins, and I don't want him to because of that. Like, other than that financial problem, I don't care that much, and I find it a fun sport. And I'm like, oh, I want to go on Twitter and see what people are saying, and everyone's just moaning and crying and shouting at each other. And I'm like, oh my god, like it's the same with football. I like football. I want to consume football, and like I want Arsenal to win. And I get when we lose and everyone's frustrated. I understand that, but all the time everyone's arguing about everything. We haven't conceded a goal this month. Is there things we can improve on? Of course, everyone can always improve, but like. Just sometimes you've got to live with it and be happy and just, move on. And it's not even just with Arsenal, with any football. I like the Bundesliga because it's funny. I think it's stupid. I think they can't defend. Do you know how many goals are set pieces in the Bundesliga? Nearly all of them because no one could defend. They're not crying in Germany being like, oh, yeah, this is ruining football. But in this country, all the time, everything's a negative. You spin anything to make it a negative thing. Like, it's just how it is. Like, even my channel, like people with what I say, what I do, the subs that I have, the views that I have, people will see that as a negative. And I don't, I see it as a positive, but like, why can't just people be happy for other people? They can't be, it never can be. So it's tribalistic, but it's just not even, some of it is not even about football. I think it's more just about what this country is like, just society.
The culture.
Yeah, and the culture. And I don't think like
I find it with content creators. Like I cannot get my head around certain content creators calling each other out, and like I can't imagine sitting down. So say like we've been going for what, like almost 2 hours, bloody hell. But I can't imagine us sitting down and then just berating another content creator that we've had no interaction with. Yeah. Like I can't fathom the mindset you must have to do that. Like, even if you're making money out of it, like at some point, like, what are your morals? Like, what are your ethics? I can't get my head around that.
It's all just trying to be America, I think.
Yeah, I just think like we've all got our own opinions. Like there's, a quote about opinions and everyone having one. I'm not going to say it, but if you know that quote, then fill in the blanks. But if I don't agree with someone, I'm not going to then go and make a video or write a comment going, oh, like you're this, you're that. Like, by all means, if anyone ever doesn't agree with me on this platform, put a comment in, and I'm happy. I'm really happy to have constructive like feedback and like have a discussion about. We do it on here. I'll say, oh, I thought this player played well, and you'll go, actually, thought you're completely wrong. And usually you're right when I watch it back, but that's fine to have that dialogue, but it doesn't have to be like, it's just this way. It's just my opinion and that's it. Like, I just have a little bit more,
It's the,
Just good dialogue between
it's the
people.
same with anything. Like, you know, there is people I watch on YouTube and TikTok who, from what I've gathered from their opinions that they've said online, that I don't like. I don't like their opinions. I don't like the way they speak. I don't like the way they say things. But I'm not going out them personally. I don't publicly speak about how I don't like them. And that's the difference. Like, people just can't stop. The worst app in the world for this is TikTok. Everyone on TikTok has no brain cells. They don't think. Like, there'll be people in the comments who will be like, I'll be like, oh, I don't know. For instance, I'll say like, "Oh, this player's good," and then and someone in the comments would be like, "I'll say this player's like 30," and then this comment would be like, "Well, this guy's actually 28," and then there'll be a reply saying, "No, he's 30," and then he goes, "Oh," and it's like, I just stuff like that. I'm like, how can? I mean, it's probably just a child, but like, how do you not go on the internet when you're on your phone and be like, "Oh, what is his age
let's just double check
typing that?" Yeah, like I just don't get that, and I think that's just so much what this. I don't know if it's content creation, I think overall has that. I think the football scene in many ways is worse for all this stuff because just everyone in football, I've said this so much over the last years, that every single person that has somewhat interest in football, like ultimately doesn't thinks that they know it all in a sense. Like they have an understanding and they feel like they don't agree with certain people even if they don't know. And the hardest thing about football is comparisons. Like, and everyone wants to compare everything. I watch every Arsenal game 3 or 4 times. I know every single Arsenal player like to a T, like everything about them. I am not the best person then to go and compare them to other players that I don't watch as much. I watch Chelsea and a lot of the top 6. Like, I've watched Reece James quite a lot this season, like quite a lot. And you can look at the stats, but that's never really going to show you like the full picture. But I can't really sit here and compare Timber and James, when James has played midfield a bit, like fully to a T, because I've watched one way more than the other. But ultimately, I just have to be like, well, I think Timber's this good, and this is my opinion, this is how it is. But you know, it's just the same with anyone. No one. Like, it just takes the benefit. No one just goes, "Oh yeah, fair enough, that's your opinion, let's move on." It's just never like that. And then, you know, there is people that have big followings in the football scene that just don't care about football. They care more about FPL. They care more about, you know, the memes of their friends. We talk about this with Arsenal on Twitter. Like, it feels like Arsenal fans sometimes want to prove themselves to other fans and feel like they have to. Why we always talk about all this stuff? I don't care. I don't care what anyone else thinks about our club. It annoys me, the comments and the misinformation that people say, and I completely understand people want to change the narrative to make it fair, and I get that. But I feel like I've done that for years, and I make my videos and I have my opinion, and I've given up that. I've given up trying to prove to everyone that we're a good team. If you don't see it, that's on you. And like, I think,
I mean, it's so clear to see as well. That's the worst thing. You know, like, everyone has their agenda, and I think that's one of the. It's like a double-edged sword. It's one of the best things about football and one of the worst things about football: the tribalism, and the fact that, you know, that the passion in football, and the fact that people, you know, people like us on a Thursday night are talking for 2 hours. We got people like, "Thank you so much for tuning in." You know, people that are interested in it that much, they will sit and watch for hours about everyone else's opinions and feel part of that conversation and add comments in, and, you know, and get that dialogue through that. It's amazing what football does of bringing people together, but it also shows the worst in people, the divisiveness and the need to, like, you know, like, I'll do it jokingly that there is a bit of banter with football. There always will be, but the need to just dig at things, whether it's founded or unfounded, it doesn't matter.
The big
thing we know, if we win this league, right? And I have to say this, Arsenal fans that are watching this, please understand that you will never, ever get everyone to say Arsenal are the best team in the country, even after we win it. And even if we go on and then we say we win the Champions League and the Premiership, and if we do a treble, people will still go, "Yeah, but they weren't as good as Man City, the Centurions, or they weren't as good as the 99 treble team from United." Or, well, they didn't get to play the best Barcelona. If they came up against Xavi and Iniesta, Busquets, they get pulled apart. Or, well, they did it when City weren't as good and Pep was on the, you know, the wane. Or, oh, well, it was Slot's second season, they lost Trent. You know, there will always be excuses, and there will always be things that people will pick at. But part of me, that's part of the reason I want us to beat this Chelsea defensive record. And I want us to score even more set play goals.
Yeah, it's
Because
funny, isn't it? It's funny.
if we can sustain that, and it's not out of the realms of possibility, because most teams that win the Premiership usually do get a good proportion of set pieces or score more set pieces than anyone else, usually because they win more corners, they win more free kicks in dangerous areas, they have the better players. Like, what a surprise. Like, just lean into it now.
Do you know, I think the biggest problem, like, the smartest comment on it, I think the biggest issue of everything, like, in terms of football, like I don't know, how people consume it in this country, I think people have been so normalized in their way of how they see football that people for so long can't separate it. My life is entirely about football. My job is about football. Everything I do for freelance and YouTube and any money that I've made in the last 2.5 years since I left university has been about talking about football or editing or doing anything about football. And at uni, I did a course about football. So I've done 5 years now, basically, where I've just been footballs my entire life, every single day, not just Arsenal, every team, like all the time watching it, analysing, getting better. And like I still, like, most of my friends outside of in real life don't like football. Like, I've got a couple of like really close Arsenal friends, but a lot of them aren't really like that. A lot of them just don't even watch it, and they see my channel and they're like, oh, what, like, don't watch my videos. They don't have a clue what I do. One of my friends said to me like a couple of weeks ago, like, oh, don't you do pack openings on your channel? Like, they have absolutely no clue, like, at all.
That's so random.
Because I guess that's like, everyone just thinks you do gaming if you say you do YouTube.
Yeah.
But like that's the sort of thing. And like, when I go in public, like, I was in a taxi the other day, and it's like this guy's a United fan, and we're talking. This was the day before. It was last Friday, so we were talking about last Saturday before we played our game against Palace. And I have to numb it down about my knowledge because I don't want to sit there and start talking about all like the tactical knowledge about Arsenal. I just go, yeah, our defense has been pretty good for the last couple of years, like, you know, basic stuff. But football is not like it, you know, you have to have that level of stopping it. And there's so many people that, like, I know outside, I've seen people online say this, that I think is crazy. People like, if I'm friends with a Tottenham fan, I wouldn't be friends with them. And I'm like, that is insane to me. I've grown up with friends of like any other club that they've supported in the world, and like that is just normalized for me. Like a lot, like, even though some of my close friends now are Arsenal friends, like one of my good friends is a really big Tottenham fan, and like my granddad was born in Tottenham. He supported Tottenham his whole life, and like a lot of my family from that fact, and like I just like to me that's just so normal. I just being around people with other fan bases, and I guess that, like, especially like if you're in certain parts of like London, I think, where they're all Arsenal, I get that kind of can't it be the same, but I just don't see it like that. And the thing is, I live in like Norwich. Norwich is very much a very segregated place by itself. It's completely out by itself. And I've seen Ipswich fans be like, oh, I'd never be friends with a Norwich fan. I think that's insane. They'd not be friends. Imagine going like at a club and something, and like a guy comes up to you and, oh, do you like football? And be like, oh yeah, I support Tottenham, and just not talking to them. I just can't imagine that. That's like not a normal interaction. But people, that is normal for people. People don't like that, and people don't want to give the benefit of that to anyone. I'll say, like, I'll even say to some people that I know, it's not really as bad as me, but I'll be like, oh, I think Son's a fantastic player. Like, I really enjoyed watching Son, and people were like, oh, he's Tottenham, and I'm like, I get it, I get that he's Tottenham, but I've never really felt that way because I just think he's a good player, even though he does play for Tottenham. And like, it's the same with, I know that maybe like this is a bit more like older, and maybe even you feel the same in certain aspects, but with Harry Kane, when he scores for England, I've never sat there and gone like, oh, he's a Tottenham. I never cared.
I'll be honest, I can't. It's like an inbuilt thing, and it's funny because I know how stupid it is. Like, I genuinely do, because it's I should be able to compartmentalize and go, okay, he's not playing for Tottenham, he's playing for England. This is completely. I just can't. There's something about it. But it's really, I don't know. I think it's almost like inbuilt as well for like United. So when we were coming up, when I was like growing up, like the 90s, and looking, you know, it was always Arsenal, United, and I just couldn't stand United players for England either. I couldn't. Like, Liverpool didn't care. Chelsea didn't care because they weren't our rivals. ironically, probably like at that point as well, I didn't care about Tottenham as much because they were never on our level. They were nowhere near. They were, and I'm not saying this like as an Arsenal fan, they just were insignificant. Like they just were irrelevant.
I've got the same with Tottenham now. Like I watched against Everton. They scored set pieces and didn't create anything. And like a little bit, a part of me obviously doesn't want them to win, but I didn't care that much. They scored, and I was like, they're not going to compete with us. They're not on our level. I don't see them as a threat at the moment, so I just don't care.
Yep.
But I think a lot of it, like how we talk about our differences, I think a lot of that is cultural and like upbringing from our times. Because I think when you talk about rivalries with like United and the big ones, they were proper fierce rivalries, not only with like the players, the fans. I don't really think we have that anymore. Like there is a certain level of like Arsenal City play and it's a big game, or a Liverpool and Arsenal play and the fans hate each other. But I don't find it that you know what I mean? The players are a lot more nicer to each other now. Like even 100%. even like the competitive rivalry between Gabriel and Haaland. Gabriel and Haaland have spoke loads of times after games. They've been calm with each other because when the game's not on, they switch it off and they're like they're fine to be with each other. They respect each other as football players that are top level players.
Oh, I used to boil over all the time.
And I think that like stuff like that I think does affect it because
I can't even begin to explain how every single week, like Fergie, people don't understand, like Fergie would constantly put stuff in the media about other managers, about players. He was always in it. And that's kind of gone now. Like we have the media talking about managers, but like I've never heard Arteta being like, could you imagine Arteta right now saying something like, well, Slot's showing his mentality, you know, he's weak-minded. Like those players, you know, you've gone and bought two of the most expensive players in history, and look at you, it's a failure. The last manager I can really think of was Marino when he said Wenger was it like an expert in failure or something?
Yeah.
You know, that's the last kind of relevant one I can think of.
We almost expect all these managers to just put up with everything now. Like, they still get the same ridicule, maybe even more than they did. I could tell you, but they get loads of ridicule, and if they're not the nicest people in the world every given second, everyone is critical. And that's why I've kind of given a bit of the benefit out to some of them. But then some of them do say stupid stuff, which deserves to be called out, like Slot recently, like Hurtler, who, by the way, he never gives the credit to anyone who beats him. And I think as a manager... I
said that in my pre-match preview.
He never does.
I said that that's just the red card with Rice.
That's just who he is, I guess. But like last year, Brighton got 2 draws against us by 2 absolutely outrageous decisions, and they got lucky. They should not have got either of them decisions. And like, you know, anyone on any given day would be like, okay, well, we got maybe a bit lucky, or maybe you don't even want to admit it, but at least you give some sort of benefit of the doubt to someone. But no, even in this game, nothing. It's nothing. It's always crying and complaining. This is what anyone does. You know, when we play Scott Parker at the weekend, I don't know if you've seen his comments, like utmost respect. Thomas Frank, I know he's the Tottenham manager now. That guy's always been respectful of us, and that's why I don't hate him. I think he's a nice guy that I'd love to have a chat with, because like he just does respect people, and that's one of the big things that managers seem to be the only people that like have to have that. Everyone else in football, in media, in covering it, in consuming it, everyone disrespects everyone all the time, no matter what. If you have a different opinion to someone, that's it. It's free reign to go personal life, go and, you know, take the mick out of there, what they look at, and do anything. And I just find that so weird. Like, that is strange. And I get that there is some people that might look a bit strange, including me, maybe, and I sound strange and I make mistakes sometimes when I say stuff, and I have a list.
Old man with a mustache over here.
But like, it's just like, you know, I don't know, if someone says something stupid about, like, I don't know, Arsenal, I don't go, oh, right, let's start rinsing their family and where they live and all this stuff. But that's just that's everything it's about. And it's just like, if I have an opinion that people don't agree with, the first thing they'll say is being like, well, he's not a real fan, he doesn't go to games, not knowing my situation, not knowing, you know, my upbringing, not knowing all that situation. And that's just what this country is based on. That is just, and I don't know. I don't know if it will ever change. I don't know. And it is just frustrating sometimes.
Sad, isn't it? Do you know what? Talk about appearances. Someone said in one of my videos recently, when I went on the instant reaction for the Atletico Madrid game for Canon Podcast, and someone put, "Oh, it's nice that Cazorla's turned up." I was like, Santi. Like, I don't know. Maybe I was like that on the stream, so I look tiny. It's like, I'm not in the 5 foot
Yeah, I was gonna
range.
say you're only like
So
twice
I'm like,
the size of
so it's like, it's really funny that thing as well, that people see this part of me. People see that part of you. People, for a few years, no one even saw you, Reece, which is crazy. But like, it's funny that you get this opinion of me here, and then people go, "Oh yeah, he's over 100 kilo." Like, no, I'm not like Santi. I can tell you that. Like, if I sat on the poor bloke would just never be seen again.
People think they know everything about you as well because they watch you. Like I get this all the time where people just like think they know everything about me because they watch my videos.
It's really nice at the same time. Like, it's great.
Nice, it's like football isn't my entire life. I do like other things as well. And like
playing Football Manager.
Yeah, and playing other games, making more videos on it.
Pressure washer too.
But yeah, like it's so funny because like I remember like some people found my old gaming videos, and on my gaming videos I'm a bit rogue. My friends are more rogue than I am, but I'm a bit rogue. And people are like, "Oh, you're not like this," or because the point of the videos are to be a tactical video. I'm not going to start bloody swearing loads and go crazy and start saying all this stupid stuff. Like I could, like, in some of my Siege videos, we just kept saying the C word all the time in the whole video.
What?
And then everyone was like, I don't know, it's like, yes, I'm a normal person. That's normal things, that has normal friends, that does what I want. Like, it's not all about like football tactics. I'm not like I'm a bit of a nerd, but not all the time. I think I turn it on and off.
We all are. It's all good. What was I? Oh, hang on. Is that a little bit less yellow? I feel like I'm really yellow today. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, like it is funny, isn't it? Like, I would love, like, on this channel, I would love to be a bit more me at times. Like, I guess because I feel like the purpose of this channel is, one, so I can speak about football and not drive all my closest like people mad because none of them are interested in football. So it's like a really good outlet for me. Two is because I get to like talk to like people like yourself. I've had like Graham on here, like James B on here from the Gooniverse. Like, obviously getting on the Canon podcast, like with Rohan and Alex and George, and getting to meet people like Will and the other James. Like, I've been fortunate enough to talk to so many people that I feel that like I'm learning things as well as being able to talk to people about this stuff. They say like one of the best things to do is like surround yourself by people that know more than you. And I genuinely feel that all the time in this channel. So it is really, really good. But so I feel like there is a need for me to get out information in the right way, because what interests me, I feel like I need to get that out. However, those of you that know me from my thumbnails and my like little bits and bobs, you would have seen tonight on the Canon podcast a video of Alex being Triple H. Like, I would love to get more of that side out, but I don't think there's like a suitable segment to do it at the moment. So, like, at some point I might do it, but like I don't really know how to. Because I think some people tune in and go, what on earth is going on? Like, why is Reece dressed up like that on some weird, like weird thumbnail I've done, you know? So at the moment, it's kind of kept a little lid on it, I guess.
Well, that's the same with me. Like, I know there's comments on Reddit about me, and they're like, he does sometimes go a bit
on Reddit. Oh, gotta say, I've never been on Reddit. I'm so old.
Oh, well,
no idea. Maybe there is something about me on Reddit.
I do like typing my name in there occasionally. But like, I know there's been comments about me being like, like, it's funny because my videos are informational, but then I do just go on rants sometimes because like I let my own.
Your rant's my favorite thing.
I mean, I literally, at uni, I was known for my rants. Everyone would be like, oh my God, he's going to rant about something else. Like, and I just would go on this like long tangent. But like there's a certain like level, like in talking about football, it's obviously like showing like this podcast is good because we can just talk about things like this, like the whole, like we've been talking about the, like, it is football related. Like, we're talking about media and how it all works. But like, there's a lot of stuff that like people just don't know, and it just doesn't happen like in public, and I feel like I don't know. It's just so much goes on all the time, and
Yeah.
like with my videos are informational, but I do want to be more entertaining in that way. That's why I want to do this FM channel and have fun and say things that I want and not have to care all the time. And it's like, and that's the sort of like balance that you find, but. I just think, yeah, I mean, I like this is why I just never know what I see on the internet. It's real. Like, I don't really like, I probably think O'Hara's a bit stupid. So I think from what I've seen, he probably believes this stuff. But there's some people that I know that just say things and they don't believe it. And they just do it purely for clicks.
he says in it about what message does that send to the players? I mean,
It's just, who cares? Like, it's like the mental thing, isn't it? It's like
I just look at it and go, like, I can kind of understand. Like, say if you were working in a job, if you were a lawyer and someone turns up in board shorts and a vest, I might go, this won't go down well with like the judge or the jury. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if my doctor like rolls up and he's got marigolds on before I'm about to go to surgery, I might go, is he the right person for this job right now? Like, I don't know about this. But it's a football match.
yeah.
And these guys are around that manager every single day. Like, he is literally dictating their lives, like their careers, regardless of how good you are. If your manager doesn't play you, like, that's it. Your career is at like a standstill for a long time. Like, they dictate their lives. So I'd very much doubt any of the players are going, oh, he's wearing a cardi to get today. Do you know what? I'm not going to press. Like,
I think as well, like, I talk about this a lot. I like, it's so funny because for so many years, I don't really think mentality was spoke about like enough because of just like mental health not really being something that people talk about generally, like it just publicly. But I just think sometimes when it comes to sport conversations about mentality, I think they're always just so overblown because these footballers train. Like, if I go to the gym for an hour and a half or 2 hours, I'm knocked out. I'm not thinking about anything when I get back from the gym. I'm like, right, bedtime, let's eat, go bed. Like, that's all I think about. I don't think about all the problems and stuff that's going on because I just don't have the energy. These guys are training like 3 times a day, doing gym work and all this stuff. And they've also got to think about their career, their playing time, like what sort of tactical systems they're going to play in games. You only have so much information you can hold in your brain. I don't think that they particularly like worry about all this other stuff. And this is why when we like, Ben White has a great like mentality, but I feel like his mentality from just looking at him is someone that just doesn't care. He's very nonchalant. He doesn't take things very seriously. Like, even in certain aspects when big things in these footballers' lives happen, which personally could be quite damning to other people, they just can't have the moment where they sit down and think about that because they have to keep going. You're never off the carousel. You're always performing, always getting next game. When's that? Next game? Oh, 3 days. Next game. Like, and they do that for nearly the entire year, other than like 3 weeks. And if there's a World Cup year, even less, which is next year. So it's like these guys just do. It's the whole thing about taking your silver medal off, that shows good mentality. Like, no, it doesn't. No one actually cares. Taking a silver medal off doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything for anyone, and it doesn't prove anything. And it's like that sort of thing. Like, I get it, and I do get that some of these players do definitely get affected more by other things, and there's things that we don't know about, like it's come out about the Tomiyasu thing, coming out about Saliba when he joined, and obviously you can feel a bit more sympathy with them. But these guys, when you're in the flow of it and you're playing every week, they just don't have time to think about anything else. Like, when I'm making YouTube videos every day, people go to me like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I don't know. I wake up, I make videos and go to bed. I don't think about anything else in that time frame other than making tactical videos about Arsenal. I don't think about like, oh, how am I feeling today? Have I eaten enough? Or I just don't have the time. And if I don't have the time and I sit on my ass making videos, I definitely don't think that these guys have the time to care, like when the season's in full flow. And I think that's one of them things where, like, yeah, like the players probably didn't even notice he wore something different, most of them, or maybe they did and was just laughed at. They probably just didn't care. Like, they probably didn't even, like, it didn't even cross their thought.
Questioning an elite athlete. I mean, elite athlete mentality is bonkers. Like, because I can't even process how good these guys must be to be at that point and stay at that point. Like, I've played against Premier League footballers, like ex-Premier League footballers. They weren't Premier League at the time. And they were so good. And I haven't got near, I haven't played with someone on the level of a Saka or an Odegaard or a Declan Rice or a Saliba or a Gabriel. These guys, to be in a team challenging for the title, their mentality is, I am the best. Like, whether their personality shows that or not, like, it's crazy to even think, like, like sometimes you go, oh, like Jamie O'Hara, oh, well, yeah, he's in this outfit.
And you would think he would know because he played at these levels. Like, it's the whole criticism that Gary Neville gets. And I think Gary Neville has been a little bit more open in the last couple of weeks about it, because he said, like, oh, it's Arsenal's title to lose. And everyone's like, surely you would know when you were in that position that it's so far away.
I put out a short about that, and someone put a really good comment and said, oh, look what he's just said on the Gary Neville podcast thing, like what he does straight after the match. And he changed the wording of it. And I thought, it's either someone's been in your ear or you've thought about it and gone, yeah, that was
even
poor.
After the Tottenham Everton Gary Neville podcast video, he says in it, this is why I said it, he says in it, oh, you would think a person like me would kind of understand to not say that. And he says that in that thing, which makes me go like, well, yeah, like that is the big criticism we all have about Gary Neville. It's not like he can say what he wants at the end of the day, but he is one of the most qualified people in this country to talk about like not having expectations so high. He will know the players are right now only thinking about Burnley. Maybe in the back of their mind they're thinking about other games and titles and stuff, but Arteta is definitely not. He's thinking about Burnley, and that is purely all he's thinking about right in this moment.
Yeah.
And like, surely Gary Neville would know that of all the accolades he's won and all the things he's achieved in his career. Like, and like, I don't know, that's the thing, that's where we get frustrated, because it just feels like it's that sort of thing where it's always, you look at it in a negative light. Instead of going, Arsenal are playing really well and they're top of the league and, let's hope it continues. You're looking at it like, well, let's wait until they fail and then we'll laugh at them. That's the sort of, and that's how you angle things in a negative light, which pisses a lot of people off. And that's how this media thing works. And I just don't think sometimes they realise why Arsenal fans get so annoyed. And Arsenal fans are jumpy and they are a bit, passionate about some things that they probably shouldn't be. But it frustrates me because I'm living in the moment. I'm loving it. I'm like, oh my God, imagine if we do win. I'm dreaming, but I'm allowed to dream because I'm a fan. But like
20 years, and this is one of the first times in 20 years that I've been able to go.
I've never seen us win the league.
We might win. I'm positive about winning the league. I'm actually thinking we could go and do this. Last year, I didn't feel that. Last year, I was like, I think we'll get second. Year before, I think we'll get second. Like, I felt that. This year, prior to the season starting, I was like, and we do it. Maybe we can. And I was a bit like, well, we're gonna have to perform well, and Liverpool are gonna have teething issues. And it's gone on. And after those City and Liverpool games, I was a bit like, oh. And we've had that switch where Liverpool have dipped, City aren't quite there. And it's that case of, actually, now this is the first time I've gone, I think we could win this. Because even when, Jesus got the injury for the World Cup, even in the run up there, I went, I just don't think we got the legs here. But this has come out of nowhere. I don't think we can do it.
23-24, I definitely think statistically, we were the best team in the country that year. We just lost by 2 points, we got 89 points, which is unfortunate. I never
felt through that season like, yeah, we're going to win it.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But right now, I've been getting that. Oh, really?
Yeah, because we were
this season is my first.
We were so good that year. I just felt like I just felt we were better than City, and City would drop points, but they never dropped points because I remember you, Aston Villa, putting a sub team out. I remember when you just did throw away the game at the Etihad and then try harded your ass against us and beat us. And I remember that.
I remember Son missing that one-on-one.
Yeah, like we had chances. Like last year, injuries happen. We were never close. Really, we were never really close. But like going into this season, I felt like we were the best team. I felt like, the problems that Liverpool have had now, I just knew were going to happen. The problems that City have had, I mean, not Rodri getting injured again. I didn't foresee that happening, or want that to happen. I don't want players to get injured, but I didn't think Reinders was going to be this like amazing player that everyone thinks he is. He's a luxury player. He's in many ways like an Eze, an 8 version of Eze, which is good. Like he's good in certain games and really helps them sometimes. Like exactly the same with Eze, but he's not a player that is going to defend, is going to help. And they played him as a lone 6, well, with Stones or whatever. And I was just like, it might be fine, but Haaland's been unreal this season, and
he's the problem for me this season.
I just don't think.
If he can if the rest of the team can raise their levels, and he can drag them through like Salah, like if you've got a player that is playing on this otherworldly level, that could be a difference maker.
Yeah,
I just think like this year
the problem is with
good.
With Liverpool in like Salah last year. Salah's a player that just like is almost a magnet to the ball, very much like what we were talking about. Eze isn't, like he just finds ways. He can come deeper and get it. There is games where Haaland is just a striker, and if he just isn't in the play, like he won't get it.
Yeah.
Like we saw it against Villa. He had 1-1-on-1. It got saved. He also had a chance late on, which he was offside, but he already just didn't get the ball the entire game, and they just couldn't get it to him. And like, yeah, they've got other talents, City, but I think Haaland always does pick up an injury, and like look at the player that Haaland is. Of course,
he's gonna get like this. I mean, not for his career, but for us.
Well, he'll probably pick up an injury anyway because of just who he is as a player. Like, he plays a very physical type of game. He's always running in, like, last line. Like, this is the sort of worry I have with Gyökeres. I'm like, he does so much running that you have to think eventually something's going to happen. Like, the players that do... That's what we saw with Havertz. That's why Havertz was like... That's probably why he hasn't moved for the last year, because he ran for, like, 18 months. He didn't stop. So,
yeah.
like, I think, like that is like their thing as well with them. But like, it's not even just the Prem, it's in all competitions we are competitive. I am dreading if we have to play Newcastle in a semi-final again. I think we're much better for it now, but I just cannot be bothered to play them. And like, I watched Ben Bowman talk about like Tottenham playing them yesterday, the EFL Cup, and he was like, I just hate playing Newcastle. I was like, oh my god, same. I was like, just hate playing this team, man.
Mate, they're in the Champions League, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, they're a team that I just wouldn't even want to draw in the Champions League, which is so funny. Out of all the teams in Europe, and I'd go, no thanks.
Well, it's just how teams play. It's like last year, I didn't want to play Villa because I was like, oh, Villa are going to be a pain in the quarterfinals. Like, as much as they are like a weaker side.
Well,
like,
Newcastle's one of the only teams that last year actually like beat us. Do you know what I mean? They beat us. They actually took us to town. Like, yeah.
But like in Europe, I look at us and I go like, who's playing at the level we are, at least defensively? Like, Inter Milan like were really good defensively last year. They conceded 11 goals in the league. They've conceded loads. I mean, they have scored loads. They've scored the most by far.
Yeah,
by
they've kind of changed, haven't they? But
like that it's just like, it is insane that.
I think Munich and PSG are the only two that are really on our level, and we have to play Munich.
Anyone.
We have to play them.
That's going to be a fun game. I don't think Munich have played anyone like relatively great so far. Like, they've been uber dominant in every game they've played. But barring Chelsea, who got got red card, they haven't actually played anyone that I'm going, wow, they're good. They played Dortmund and they beat them. They scored some, awful corner goal. Wow. Corner goals in the Bundesliga. I don't see anyone crying about that. I actually would love to see the percentage of corner goals in the Bundesliga, because nearly every goal I watch, even the DFB Pokal yesterday, I watched 4 highlight packages, and I think 70% of the goals were from corners. That's just and they're not even good corners, and I'm just like, that's just how football is. But we're ruining it, so that's how it is.
Should we finish up with our favourite players?
Yeah.
We go for it. Have you got yours kind of to hand? Have you got a little graphic or not?
Oh, I've just got it written down.
Oh, go for it then. You go for it, mate.
Okay, in goal we got Tim Krul. I've met him twice because he played for Norwich, and I worked at Norwich, and I bumped into him a few times. And he, I remember he had a man of the match performance against Chelsea when they lost 3-2. But he was really good in that game, and I spoke to him after the game. So that's why Tim Krul's there, bit of a beast. I
like that. I like that. That's quite like a niche one. That's like the perfect player for this. Like,
I mean, I also met Grant Harnley, but I didn't put him in it. Sorry, Hanley, mate. I don't care. Sorry, buddy.
No, we'll go Krul. That's one.
Yeah, former Newcastle Krul. Right back, I got Maicon, because when I first watched football, he was like, I don't even know if he was the best right back. He was in like 2010-ish, so like he was.
Yeah.
But like he kind of was getting phased out a bit. But in that World Cup, he scored that. The 2010 World Cup, I remember everything from that World Cup. Like I vivid memories of everything. That goal he scored against North Korea was so fun on the byline, and I loved it. And I was a right back, like really, really young. When I was about 9 or 10, I was a right back, so I always wanted to play like Maicon. I actually ended up becoming a left back and a goalie, so I don't know what happened there.
Was it?
If I did the Maicon.
It was when Bale scored that hat trick. He was the one who kind of got done, wasn't he?
Yeah,
that was like
I
think that was part of the reason why people started going, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was towards the tail end of his
that
career,
was when I was like fully watching football. Like I was like 11 then, so I was watching it a lot. Yeah, so he was kind of not brilliant then. Now the centre backs are going to be funny. The first one is Godin because like there's going to be a player that comes up later, but I was a big Atletico Madrid fan as a child, like big. Like them and Leverkusen, other than obviously Arsenal, were like my two teams I genuinely watched like all the time. And
I'm still here.
Okay, and I Godin was obviously an absolute beast. His headers for Uruguay was so good. He was so good in them areas. And like I don't know, like he's one of the first centre backs I really remember when you say to me, "Oh, who's a centre back?" And I know he's not like that level, but he was a really good player. He won a couple of La Ligas. You know, was Uruguay were my favourite national team. For another reason, for another player that I get to later. My other centre back is Ezri Konsa because I was thinking, what centre backs do I actually like? And I was like, not many. And then Ezri Konsa, I had him on FM21 because when he was in League One, I bought him and he was insane in that game, and he became like my guy basically. And then Ezri Konsa has gone on to be an incredible football player. I watched him the other day and was like, oh my God, this guy is one of the best centre-backs in the league. He's a probably certified starter for England in the World Cup, and he deserves to be. And he seems like a nice lad. So I had him on FM all them years ago. It's so funny because it's so mad that we say this, but Antoine Semenyo, like 4 or 5 years ago on FM, I bought him and he became my top goal scorer of all time at Sunderland. And like it was just so funny because that was just like nobody. He actually played in the centre a lot, and I moved him to the left and the centre a lot as well. And then like I remember him from that time, and then when he became like prevalent for Bournemouth, and when Bournemouth signed him from the Championship, I was like, oh, I know Semenyo. I played with him on FM, and then now like he's this player, and it's like kind of the same. I
love that.
It's kind of the same with Konsa, and like same with Šeško as well. Like that's why I have such an affinity with these players. I've been like known them from like when they were a child in FM, and then followed their career, and then it's like, oh, they're one of the best players. So that's great. I haven't got a left back. I did have Roberto Carlos, but I never watched Roberto Carlos play, I don't think. I watched him play a couple of charity matches. If I had to say, I know this is Arsenal. My favourite left back was Monreal when I was growing up. I always thought Monreal was just an incredible. I just thought he was so like a lot of the people who are my age. I was literally speaking to my two mates who are my age, and I said, oh, who's like a left back you really liked? And they were like Monreal, and I was like, yeah, because he's
so dependent.
He was so
dependable.
He was so underrated for so long, and then he really was a big part of that FA Cup win we got. Where he,
I always remember him coming into centre back as well. You know, doing well there.
I remember his goal at Wembley against City. Was it? Yeah, when we equalised, and like that, like he was a big part of that run as well. So he like has a special place for me, Monreal. But even though he's Arsenal, but I had to put him in. Midfield is I put Nico Barella because I've kind of gone off Barella a little bit because I don't watch Barella as much, but kind of in the same mold. There's a guy called Thornsby as well. He's a Danish midfielder. I think he played for Sampdoria. He was another guy that was with Barella who I like followed. Ricky's another one who's like Serie A young midfielders that I've been following for years because I love like young Serie A talents. And Barella's just so fun. He just does everything. He's my sort of midfielder. He just runs around. He's tiny, but he's just effective in the air. He's an incredible volleyer. Great in every ounce. I feel bad for him that Italy are awful. But at least...
do you think he should have moved by now?
It's just the Italian thing, in it. They don't leave their country. Also, Inter are a competitive team. If they don't win the league this year, which they might not because they lost at the weekend, I think. Yeah, maybe you should consider it. But I mean, you think I always thought Barella and Tonali were like that growing up, like they were the two central midfielders for Italy, and now like after a lot of messing up happening with gambling and going to Newcastle and, you know, leaving one of these certain teams, then both of them are like the best Italian midfielders. So it's cool to see Barella there. The next one is Yaya Toure, just because absolutely absolute beast. Like
Yeah.
he scored 20 Premier League goals on that season where Man City had 4 players that hit 20 goals in all competitions, which was insane. And I remember the goal he scored against Villa like vividly, where he just ran past the whole team in the midfield and scored. And I saw Yaya Toure the other day on a short giving credit to Miles. He was saying that, like, I don't know if you saw it. It was after the game that we played. He went to it and he put a little post out on Twitter, and it was like this written point. It made me laugh, and it made me laugh. It was so like old
I have to
fashioned.
check that out.
But it literally said like, "Oh, my thoughts on the Arsenal game." I think it might have been against Atleti, and he was like, "Oh, I really loved Miles Lewis-Skelly, and like he really stood out for me." And I was like, that run that he did is so Yaya Toure-esque. I was like, I don't know. I like Yaya Toure. I like Kolo as well. Like they both seem like decent
Kolo
people.
Toure. Oh my
Kolo
God.
Toure was always nice to Arsenal when he left.
He's like a forgotten man as well. Like
He's so respectful.
Invincible, and then Invincible in Scotland, wasn't he? Like with Celtic, I think as well.
Yeah. Remember when we played Liverpool and the entire Arsenal fan base just kept shouting like 49 Invincible Couture, and he was like loving it. And like I don't know, they just seem like nice people. Like I care a lot about like my perception. I know it's not always like real life reality or whatever, but I feel like if people like I like quite respectful, I kind of like him a bit more, and I think they both are. But
the story of Kolo Toure, especially coming to Arsenal on his trial, and just taking everyone out, including Wenger. I love that. I just love his. How much did he cost? Was it like 250 grand or 25 grand or something crazy like that as well? That's Kolo, obviously. Then we could have got Yaya, and that didn't go through.
Yeah, because as well, when I first started watching football, Yaya was at Barca, and I didn't really watch European football because I was a child. And then when he went to like City a bit more, I was like, oh, I knew this guy at Barca, but he didn't play as much as I would, because he didn't play in the big Barca that much. He was a bit of a bench player at some point.
Yeah.
And then like when he went to City, it was just final, and I was like amazed. Next to him, I got 2 attacking midfielders and like a 4-2-2-2, whatever. I've got Kaká just because I just think like I don't know.
Remember you saying before.
Something about how he plays football is just so fun for me. Like because he's not overly quick. And I think that makes me like him more because he's not quick. He just relies on his dribbling. He was more quick back in his younger days. But he's more of a guy that like looks up and thinks about stuff. A bit like Odegaard, a bit like Ozil in that sense. But I don't know. Like I just think Kaká is so underrated. I think he's one of my favorite players in that era. And then next to him, I've obviously got Dybala. Got my tattoo.
Yeah.
He scored the other day. Actually, he also got an assist from a corner yesterday. So has he ruined football? But like Dybala's just that guy. Like I don't know. As a kid, I never cared about Dybala as much as everyone because when he
has he made enough of his career?
Well, no. But I think a lot of it is down to yet again, you get put in the Serie A trap and you never leave. And I also think he says, well, I don't want to blame anyone for his career being worse, but if I had to blame anyone for his career not being as good as it should have been, I'm looking at a certain guy called CR7. But because before he joined Juve, Ronaldo, Dybala was their best player by an absolute mile.
100%.
And then Ronaldo joined and he had to become a facilitator, was dropped for half the games. And like obviously Ronaldo was good. Like he was especially good in the first year. But like they just ruined Dybala. Dybala never
long term,
he never recovered. He never recovered from
and Juve
that.
didn't after that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look
financially
at Juve
they
now.
didn't either. Like the amount of money they had to pour in to get Ronaldo. I've seen there's a lot of like good videos about it, but there's a lot of like in-depth stuff where it's not just about the 100 mil they spent. They had to do all this other stuff as well, and they were still in debt until like last year or the year before to him. So like obviously the contract was a lot. So, but you look at like Dybala's stats. Like I hate when people are like, "Oh, Dybala was never really that good." Like Dybala was a good player. His stats are incredible. He was scoring like 20 goals, 15, 20 goals a season from midfield while getting like 15 assists in the Serie A. That is insane.
Yeah.
Like that is unbelievable stats. And he was unbelievable. He just wasn't that great for Argentina. He never really got in their team, but he never really fit. And like fitness concerns really halted his end of his career. Even at Roma, he has been their main man. I went to see Roma and he was their main man when I went there. Bit less now, but he is old. He's in his 30s. He's winding down his career a bit. I think he could have definitely done more, unfortunately, but he's just such a good player. Like when I was a kid as well, like he was at Palmeiras from 2012 to 2015. every single kid in my school from like non-uniform day would be wearing a Panamera Dybala shirt. He was so popular, and I don't really know why. Maybe he was just, I think he was really good on FIFA or something like that.
Mhm.
And then that probably like leveled him up. I remember he was, and like, I don't know, from my like age demographic and stuff, he was like a cultural hero, like in that sense. And like everyone liked him and like that sort of thing. And like, and he just became a player. And then my two strikers are hilarious. I put Diego Forlan there, who's kind of not really a striker. At least when
I knew he'd be in yours. I knew he'd be in yours, which is so funny because I can't stand him.
When I watched him play, he never played up front. I don't think I ever watched that guy play a game up front because he'd stopped playing there basically after United, I think, which is way before my time. But my first World Cup was the 2010 World Cup. Like, I have very good memories of it, and he was the best player in that tournament. He won the Golden Ball, but he was fantastic.
Jabulani ball.
Yeah, Jabulani. He was so good with that. Some of the goals that he scored a goal against, I think it's South Africa, where he like kicks it up in the air and it dips down at the last second into the goal. It's crazy. He scored a free kick against Ghana to send them through to the semis. He scored a semi-final goal against Netherlands where he chipped the keeper from like 30 yards out. Then he scored an incredible volley in the third place playoff game against Germany. This guy was unbelievable. He scored in every knockout game, I think, other than one maybe. He was just genuinely like that guy. And when I was watching, when I'm 9 years old watching this guy play, I'm like, yeah, well, this is I don't know. And since then, I followed his whole career. I followed him at Atleti. I watched the Fulham Atletico Madrid final. Well, that was before, but I knew about it. And then obviously he was like a big part of that. He scored 2 goals in the final against Fulham. Sorry, Roy Hodgson. That's just how it is sometimes. And then I don't know, like he just became like a cultural hero for me. He's like one of my favorite footballers of all time. And he was great ever. I followed him at Inter, went into a crap, and he was there. And then he went to like Japan.
Oh, he went there.
And then he went to all them teams, and he just went to all these teams, and he was not even good. And I'd buy him on FIFA. He'd be my guy. And then the next striker next to him is a guy I've met in real life. And I've got a photo with him. And that's the only reason he's on this list because he's kind of a bit funny for me. But is my big boy, Wout Weghorst. That's my guy. He was like just a typical like 6'6" giant at Wolfsburg. And I was like, oh, he's one of them cool German strikers, whatever. I liked him on FIFA and FM or whatever. But then he went to Burnley and he became a cult hero for me. Like I loved him there. And like, obviously, Norwich played Burnley, and I literally went to the game just so I could get a photo with Weghorst and without Weghorst, and I got a photo with him, and I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. So that's my guy, Wout Weghorst. And then, like, we was at United after this, bear in mind, but I was still cheering him on. He never scored a league goal for them, but I was still there every game going, I'll come about. And the thing is, it was so funny because I took the photo 6 months before he went to the World Cup, and he scored twice against Argentina. And I was at uni, and I was like, I've got a photo with this guy. And he scored against Messi. He scored twice, and he still plays for Netherlands now. He's still on their bench. He'll be there hopefully for the World Cup if they qualify. So, you know, if they win, that's my boy. So that's my main team. I'll just quickly go through the bench because like one. I got Aguero because I liked him. Cool player. Jimenez because, you know, yet again next to Godin. And also, like, he scored a goal in the last minute, and I was at this party, and it was in the World Cup, and it was 0-0, and all these girls were like, I was like, oh, he's going to score from this corner. Uruguay are really good from set pieces. They'll score from this. And they were like, they never score from last minute goals. They won't score this. And then he headed it in straight away after, and I had him in my FPL team, and I was like, yeah. I was so happy. So that's why Witzel, I also did that with, but he's not in this team. I got Coutinho. I liked Coutinho because he just scored 45 yarders. And then
he scored some beautiful
And then Brendan
goals.
Rodgers after the game would be like, yeah, I told him to do that. And that's just such a funny meme to me when I was younger. I've got Livakovic in goal, who's the Cohesion goalkeeper, because FM, anyone knows, he's so good at FM.
Yeah,
that's my boy. And then I got Dzeko up front. I like big strikers, and Dzeko had a lot of technical ability. I follow Dzeko now. Like, he plays Florentine. I watch him all the time. Like, I love Dzeko. I think he's a great player. And then, like, I've got some players that I just respect. I've got Lewandowski, one of the greatest players of my generation. Like, I respect him heavily. Like, he was 13 years ago. He was scoring 4 goals in, like, the semis of the Champions League, and he's still good now. He is still good now, and it's insane. I got Mbappe because I watched Mbappe when he played against Man City when he was 17, and my eyes were just like blown. I was like, what is this kid? And then since then, he's just been my guy. And then I got Vitinha because I've spoke with him on a Discord call technically, but I have spoke to Vitinha.
That's so crazy.
And like, that's my guy. And like, now he's in the Ballon d'Or nominations. Like, that's just him. And then the last one is Stefan Kiesling, who's was the Bayer Leverkusen striker who was most famous for scoring the ghost goal where he headed the ball into the side net. But obviously, I loved Leverkusen. They were my team at the time. And he was just a big striker that scored a lot of goals. So I liked him a lot. So he's my guy. So
Mate, that's a good list. It's so funny because it shows when you hear mine now, different generations. Like, it's so funny. But I really appreciate, like, it's
just players that you don't...
like, yeah, it's like their own kind of timestamps in your history of watching football.
Even people like Dybala, like for you, like Dybala's like, oh yeah, kind of whatever, he was decent. But like when I was like growing up, everyone in school was talking about Dybala. Like everyone has
I like Dybala, and he reminds me of a player that's in my list as well. So like I like there are, and you should have players like that aren't the best of the best. Like I don't understand. Like I do understand people having like the best players ever, but
it's like Forlan with me. Like I saw Forlan. Like Forlan was really good when I was watching him at Atleti and Uruguay. But like even then, like after he kind of got phased out of the Uruguay team, they had Cavani and Suarez instead. And like a lot of people, I mean, I think Forlan was better for Uruguay than definitely Cavani. Maybe not Suarez, but like Forlan like isn't in the same conversations as these players. Just generally, he's not. But I don't know. There's just something about him. I was super young, and I just like really liked him, and then I just followed his career. And
it's one of those things where you can go back and you go on YouTube and watch highlights of them, and you're like, oh, yeah.
It's like the same with like
something like.
It's like Reyes as well. Like I never really watched Reyes play for. I never watched him play for Arsenal. I watched him play in La Liga loads, but I've got an Atleti shirt of his name on the back, like from when I was like 6 years old or something. Or like, oh no, he wouldn't have been Atleti then. It would have been when I was like 10 or 11. And like that holds to me. And also Reyes died on my birthday, unfortunately. So like, I don't know, there's like a certain level I have with him where like it's not about football, but I have that sort of affection with him because I like wore his shirt growing up and he died on my birthday.
That's interesting.
So it's like, I don't know. I like Reyes a lot.
All right, do you want to hear mine? Here we go.
Yeah.
A lot of these players, you're going to be like, I don't even know who these players are. I've never heard of them. Okay, I'll start with my subs bench. I just got him here, so let's go for it. So, Buffon, for me, the best keeper I have ever seen in terms of like pure keeping. But this isn't my best 11. So
he likes the Serie A, I think, guys.
Yeah, you can see. Like, so when I grew up, it was all Serie A. So they used to have it on Channel 4. On a Saturday morning, and it was like, so you could watch it all, and all the best players were in Serie A.
Yeah,
like it's not like now. Like I mean, really, all the best players are in Serie A. Cassano. So you'll like this one. This is a football manager legend, Cassano for me. So taking over like Sampdoria, took over Udinese and had him in that team. Like he was just one of those players, and he had like a proper attitude about him. So Cassano has to go in there. Seedorf, Seedorf to me is so underrated. But the guy, I mean, just look at the guy's legs; they're enormous. Some of the goals he scored, like if you go and watch the AC Milan Inter Milan derby. There's some videos of those games. And, oh my God. Like he was just unbelievable. Guti is a random one. Guti, 2 reasons for me. First reason is because he was like the back heel master. So I'm sure somewhere, if you go online and put in Guti back heels, there'll be a compilation of him doing it. Unbelievable. The other reason is when I was growing up, so I had a Real Madrid kit. And my hair was a lot blonder than it is now. And I grew my hair. And everyone just called me Guti. Everyone. So like I would go over to like football training somewhere and then other random people would call me that. So he's in there for that. Del Piero is one that, I was like, should he be in a team? Like, I don't know. Him with white Adidas Predator accelerators with the Champions League badge on it. That is imprinted into my brain. Like those boots and him playing there, one of the best players I've ever seen. I like Del Piero.
Didn't he score in the World Cup 2006 in the semis against Germany?
Yeah, I think he did.
In the last, because they scored 2 goals and then he scored like the last one and he put that top bins. I like that.
And he's the one that makes me think of Dybala.
Yeah.
He's that kind of player that like could win a match, but he was kind of like a 10, but kind of wasn't. And
Do you know he gives me vibes of like a bit more my age, but like I don't know if you were Di Natale. Don't know if you ever.
yeah.
Di Natale was so good, man. It's just a shame he stayed at Udinese his whole bloody career. But
I know, just late bloomer as well.
Del Piero's a nice guy. I like him when he speaks in interviews and stuff.
I also like the fact that when Juve had all of their kind of controversy and then got relegated, like he stayed
with them. Yeah, Buffon
He's like,
did
I'm
as well,
staying.
didn't he?
I'm gonna, and I really appreciate that. That I feel that I'm sure there was probably some
There's still more stuff
choice
going on in
words
Italy.
to him from certain people, but nevertheless, he still did it. Luis Figo, oh God, people don't know how good that guy was. Like he was unbelievable. He scored a goal against England that was an absolute beauty as well. Like he was so good. And it was funny because when David Beckham went to Real Madrid, I think loads of people kind of like arrogantly were like, oh, well, Beckham's going to go there and play. And I remember thinking, I don't think he is going to play because Figo plays out on the right and that'll be it. And he didn't. Beckham found it really hard to get in. And the only reason Beckham kind of played a lot was because of who he was as a name. Because he was a grafter, they ended up kind of shoehorning him in a lot of the time. Luis Figo.
I think Figo's just been forgotten, because I think the problem with him is timing kind of has been messed up because, like, before Ronaldo and Messi came along, if you look at all the Champions League's big stats, Figo's basically dominating them all, like goals, assists. But because he's Portuguese and stuff, and then like he was in half of his career is just then Ronaldo, and I do think. Because I obviously knew how good Figo was, like I kind of did, but I've never really watched him. And I think since Ronaldo has kind of taken over that spot, many ways a winger, like Portuguese, like so many ways a similar player, he's just kind of taken over. And like no one even talks about Figo anymore. But did Figo win a Ballon d'Or?
Yeah. Won a Ballon d'Or, then went to Real Madrid from Barcelona.
Oh. Wouldn't do that.
Some balls there. I've got Riquelme there. Riquelme did one of the best turns I have ever seen a player do. And it was like kind of like a roulette on a ball, but he backheeled it instead. And I remember going, okay, I need to do that. And I went for county trials like the next weekend and then did it at the county trials. So that as forever, that's like burnt in my head. So he's just up there. But another player that kind of, he's just missed out because he was part of that Argentinian squad that never won anything. And he's just so good. And then the last two, I'm still looking at this now going, should he be in this team? The Adriano, everyone's going to know what I'm going to say.
Pro Evo, isn't it? It was like, did that game come out in like 2005 or something, 2006? Something like that.
Yeah, it must be about that.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit before that. Actually, I'm trying to think when I went off to university. 99 shot power. I saw him play at the Emirates as well. I saw us play in the Emirates Cup when it first kind of started, maybe the second year. We played against Inter Milan and they had Zlatan up front with Adriano and he didn't have his best game, but he got the ball at one point on the right-hand side, cut in and unleashed this shot, and I've never seen a ball hit that hard. And it was like, oh yeah, that's why he's got 99. Like he was so good. He should have been the man that took over the mantle from Ronaldo at Brazil and took them on to winning a World Cup. Like he was that good for that period. And then unfortunately he had, family issues and went back to the favelas and a lot of depression and things. But like that guy will never be forgotten. Like he was, unbelievable talent. And then the final one on my subs bench is Totti, the King of Rome, retired number, could do everything. Scored one of the best hat tricks I've ever seen. Like, putting Totti hat trick. If anyone gets bored for 5 minutes, Totti hat trick, that. But
that's actually a player I saw, Totti. I actually watched Totti.
Oh, really? At Roma?
well, he didn't retire till 2017, so the guy was still kicking about. Like he scored double-digit goals when I was in the league when I was watching him at the start. Like I remember him just being a bit like by the time I was watching him, he was like in his 30s, so he's a bit of a poacher. But he didn't retire till he was like 40, I don't think. Like he played for a very, very long time.
So I did a like a blind rankings thing, and someone got really annoyed with me because I put in Totti quite high, and then Kaka was like one place below. And bearing in mind it's a blind ranking, someone got really annoyed with my ranking, and then I had to be like, well, just hold on. You're acting like Totti isn't one of the greatest players that the world's ever seen. Like, he's probably in the top 100 players ever, like of like pure talent. He could have gone to Real Madrid and then just won everything, but decided to stay at Roma.
I
Like,
mean,
people don't understand how good that guy was.
Roma. It's nice in Roma. I can see why he wanted to stay, but he played 25 seasons in the Serie A and won once.
Yeah,
God, that's crazy. And he won in his like one of his first, like his 7th season. He won.
Yeah.
He won the year. He won the Serie A. It would have been literally like a week before I was born. That was when he won the Serie A, and then he never won it again. And I grew up, and then he was still playing. I was 16. He was still playing.
That is mad, isn't it? That is mad. But honestly, he had an amazing touch. He had vision. He had a shot on him. Him and Del Piero both playing in their prime at Italy was just unbelievable. But my actual team, here we go. Right, so goalkeeper. This might be a player you've never heard of as well. So this will be interesting. I have got Chilavert. Have you heard of this guy?
No.
Right, okay. So he played for Paraguay, I think it was. And the reason I've got him in here is because he used to take free kicks.
Yeah.
The left-footed free kicks. And he was an absolute tank. I think he was like nicknamed the Bulldog or something like that. And he was like a big guy as well. He wasn't just like a tall goalkeeper, he was a big guy. And hit some beauties of free kicks. And he always used to make me laugh because he would then have to leg it back. But because he was quite big, he kind of like jogged back, and it always made it really interesting. So he just had to go in there. And plus, if you ever had him on Pro Evo, he was actually a really good goalkeeper on it and a really good free kick taker. So it was just fun to have a goalkeeper taking that. So Chilavert's in that. I've then got a right back, Cafu. I don't know if he's the best right back I've ever seen, but he's definitely the one that made me take notice of right backs, if that makes sense. Like Zambrotta was always amazing. Dani Alves, like incredible. There have been some really, really good right backs, but like Cafu was just so much fun. And then seeing him at like Roma, seeing him at AC Milan, like he was just incredible. Just getting up and down the wing. I think he ended up captaining Brazil to a World Cup final as well, and a World Cup win. Because I think that's when Dunga. So you might not know this. Their captain, decided to go in goal and practice, and I think he like broke his arm or dislocated his shoulder and missed the whole World Cup. So Cafu took over as captain. So a bit of a random one. I then got Nesta at centre back, just pure class, so good, and a player that I think people forget about, even though he's probably one of the best centre backs the world has ever seen. He's top 10 centre backs, maybe top 5. And then along with him, Christian Kivu.
Wow, the Inter Milan manager.
Yeah, so
we'll see him soon.
He used to quite often wear an eye mask, kind of like Osimhen, but he also took free kicks. You see a theme here. He took free kicks as well.
Free kicks. Is it?
I
actually did research about Chivu the other day because I saw some people like I didn't know like him that well, but obviously he was the Inter Milan manager, and I saw a lot of people talking about his career. So I was like, I'll just go through and research him. So that's so rad.
Yeah, man. Like I used to love it. I was always in my ultimate team type things, or my what was the other thing? Ultimate team. What's the pro one? Pro clubs. I can't remember what it's called now. So yeah, he was always there. He could play left back as well. that he was like a really good squad addition. See, I was already thinking in my teens.
Rotation.
I was getting rotation.
Get left
How
back
can I
in, so he
get
can play there.
So yeah, he's in there, and then alongside him, he couldn't go at left back because Roberto Carlos. He had to go on my team. I had a shirt with his name on the back. Of all the players I could have on a Brazil shirt, he was on there. The free kick he scored in the, what was it, the Tour de France, was it? No, not the Tour de France. That's the, what was it called?
Cycling.
Tour de Noir, was it? I can't remember what it's called now, which was like a random tournament they had.
Was it like the Confederations Cup? Remember that?
Yeah, it was like a weird tournament. I think England won it, you know. I think it was like France, Italy, England, Germany, Argentina, Brazil. Like it was just like the big nations. Let me have a look. Roberto Carlos free kick versus France, wasn't it? Because it was Barthez in goal. Tour Noir. It was Tour Noir de France. It was called Tour de France.
Oh, it was close.
The Tour Noir de France. So yeah, that's what I got a bit confused. But I mean, to me, he's the best left back ever, the best fullback ever.
He's very good at free kicks as well, so he keeps up with
his
the left.
passing range was unbelievable. But even defensively, like he was so good, so good. Like revolutionized fullbacks. He was unbelievable. But he's just in there because I loved watching him play. And I can remember watching Cafu and Roberto Carlos warming up. And they were the two that started off doing like volleys, like over the width of the pitch. You know how you see players do it now? Like they were the two that kind of started that. But they would do things like it would come over and they'd like backheel it over the back of their heads and then volley it and stuff. Just... yeah, those two had to be in a fullback.
It's always a Brazilian fullbacks, isn't it? Because I was thinking like, oh, what Brazilian fullbacks did I see? I just really forgot about like Dani Alves and Marcelo and stuff. And it's like,
yeah, man, like, and I love them, but they weren't. I don't think they were ever as fun. I think Dani Alves might be better than Cafu, simply because he could step in midfield and his passing range was probably better.
I think Marcelo is one of the best fullbacks of all time, but I don't particularly like him really as a person.
I think defensively, like Roberto Carlos defensively was far better than Marcelo.
Yeah, I didn't watch Roberto Carlos. I wouldn't have a clue.
I mean that's the thing, isn't it? It's hard to if you don't see them all the time. It's so difficult. And then I've got Edgar Davids, the man that made me want to wear swimming goggles while I played football.
Barnet legend.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he went to Tottenham, which really annoyed me. But him at Juventus, he was just such a fun player to watch. Like quite small, quite aggressive, great on the ball. Those of you that watched the Nike Scorpion adverts, have you ever seen them, Reece?
Maybe.
It's like a silver ball, and they're playing in cages, 3-on-3. Like, oh my God, that is prime, like football. Oh, it's so good. Like, yeah, I'll send you some links.
I watched Edgar Davids at Barnet when he came out of retirement because he played in 2012 to 2014. So that's like, I was pretty active then. I went into high school. So like, I watched him there, but I didn't watch him anywhere else.
Yeah, he was wicked player. And then I've got Nakata, who I've mentioned on this pod before.
No,
like
he's an icon. He's an icon on FIFA, I think.
Is he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I think
justice for Nakata.
He's got like really good skills or something.
Yeah. He was quality. Blue Nike Mercurial Vapors, the first second gen of them coming out. He had his own for the Japan kit, and he was just like oozed class.
There's also something about there's also something about Japanese players, man. I have an affection to like Kazuki Honda.
Oh
he
was
just banging in free kicks in the World Cup. He just didn't care. It was so funny. It's just such a cool time. Like just so many cool players.
Yeah, man. Like I can remember Nakata for the World Cup they had in Japan as well. Like he was their kind of bigger head, I guess. Yeah, just like a fun player, like one of those players that I'll sometimes go, oh, I'm going to watch a couple of videos of him, and it's hard to find stuff of him. He's not like one of those, but like he's not like a Davids or Riquelme that's going to have like a load of compilations. But yeah, real, just
like a Pele. They got no evidence anything that he said happened ever.
yeah. And then he's got to be in it. I know it's not the best 11, but that guy was unreal to watch. Like I try to watch every game I could of Zidane. He, to me, is the best midfielder of all time. Like he was so big as well that you couldn't get the ball off him. He did the roulette, and I used to always be like, oh, I have to do that. Like his step over was, you get certain players who do like step overs in different ways, and he could have just kind of nonchalant in the way that he would do it, and he would just glide past players. Like he's the only player that you could ever have 90 minutes of just watching him, especially in his final game. And that documentary, I love watching it because it's like poetry in motion. He was unbelievable. The goals he scored.
I think he's one of the most iconic people in football, and I think he will be throughout history. Like, I mean, it's funny because I never watched him play. Like, he retired when I was like 4, but I remember even like. I remember being like, when I was like 12, everyone used to speak about that headbutt all the time. And I do think in so many ways that is like his legacy a little bit, like in people my age, because we just didn't watch him. So the easiest thing to remember is that. Obviously, I do remember, I've also seen his volley against Leverkusen in the Champions League, when he chipped the pen as well, and then it like bounced in and hit the bar. Like, they're the 3 big memories of Howard Zidane. But like, even like as a club manager, this guy managed 4 years in club career and won 3 Champions Leagues and 2 La Ligas, and he's probably never going to manage again because he cannot be asked. And he's the most like nonchalant, like he's the most like, I don't know, he's just the most just guy, and he just does things. And like, I think Zidane just looks like a player that like he's like massive and tall, but like technically like could do everything. Like, and you just don't get players like that very, like, especially then. Like now you might get a couple, but they're not as good as he is. And I mean,
I think he's like one of those players that you look at, like when you look through different eras of football and you go, well, I don't know if they would be able to translate it into. I think he could play in any era of football. He could have played in earlier years. He could play in later years.
He's massive, to be fair. It does help.
Because he's so tall. He had an engine on him. His control. Like, I can remember him against Brazil, and there's a ball that comes out to him, and as the ball's about to touch the floor, he Cruyff turns on it and just goes. And he's like in full motion, like straight away without even touching the ball. Like he's straight into his action. Unbelievable. Like that guy was. I used to just watch hours of him and go, how can I receive the ball better? How can I pass the ball better? Like, how is he able to glide past players like at his height? It was
Bordeaux legend.
Yeah, Juve legend. People forget that. Him with Davids at Juve and
That's
Deschamps.
Probably the only other team he might manage is Juve. I don't think he's ever going to manage anyone other than Juve and Real Madrid.
Maybe at France. Maybe.
Well, I don't know. Unless Bordeaux in the 4th division, maybe he waits for them to come up.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. And then, so what I've done is I've actually made a diamond tier. Because I was like, I really wanted in Del Piero in this kind of location. And I thought, no, there's a player that has to go in simply because, ironically, I used to practice his free kicks, and that's Rivaldo. So I used to practice doing the same technique as him, left-footed, and I'm not left-footed, for hours with one of my very good friends who, we both used to go, okay, Rivaldo free kicks. And we would just get a bag, bring it over, and just over and over and over again hitting free kicks with our left foot. Just so funny. But I think he's a player that people don't appreciate how good he was. Like, another Ballon d'Or winner. And, like when people go, Brazil and the attackers, they always go, R9, Ronaldinho. This guy before, like he walked so those guys could run. Like he was the guy that kind of set the tone.
I think it's purely just like I think like how people are perceived by like people that didn't necessarily watch them is genuinely down to them, like what they're like. And all I really know Rivaldo from is when he got the ball thrown at him and he like held his head.
Oh my God,
that's all I
completely forgot about that.
But that's what I mean. That's why
so funny.
That's why I think he has been forgotten, because that's all I never watched him play. So that's the only big memory that people used to talk about was that thing that he did with him being a crybaby.
Now the big memory is him doing a bicycle kick, flicking it up to himself and doing a bicycle kick for Barcelona. Like that type of stuff, mate.
That's what I mean. But
that's
probably why history doesn't help him. Like,
but yeah, I've never even considered that. It's so funny, isn't it?
Because that's the only thing I know, like from him, like really. Yeah, but Turkey, I think as well.
Just honestly, he's a player that you have to watch, and you'll go, "Oh my God, yeah! Like that guy is unreal." Like he was like Ballon d'Or winner, like World Player of the Year. He was so good. So good, like so fun to watch as well. Played in a completely different way, but like proper Brazilian footballer, but played in a different manner to Ronaldinho and Ronaldo. Like he was the kind of in between the two of them.
Do Brazil have any footballers like that anymore? Do they? Not really. Like maybe Vinny. Vinny's a crybaby. And also dribbles a lot. I mean,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, Vinny, but like Vinny's nowhere near as
like Neymar's not there, and it kind of just feels like that was it. I think Neymar, like low key, could be one of the best Brazilian players of all time. He just got absolutely shafted because the rest of his team
but he probably
sucked.
is.
One of his rest of his team sucked for like his whole career.
I think that when I look, and this is my own opinion, and people will probably kill me for this. Like, it's lucky we don't have too many people viewing this. But when I watch Neymar, I have always had this opinion of him that he's done the showboating for the sake of showboating. Whereas I think if you watch Ronaldinho, he would do it quite often and beat a man. If you go and watch R9, you watch R9 do a step over, he's sending 2 or 3 players to the shops, and then he's going past the goalkeeper and rounding the goalkeeper before he like knocks it in. Neymar, a lot of the time I go, what was the outcome of it? Cool, like you've done a couple of step overs and then you've backed out on yourself and you've passed the ball back. Like I find like a lot of his was to kind of just show that he could do it. Or, like he would do it quite often at the end of a game when a team's winning and he would wind players up and do it. And there's part of me that'd be like, well, yeah, fair. It's like, if you can do it, why not? But at the same time, it's a bit like, all right, go and do it and beat the man and go hit it top bins. Like, don't do it like in the halfway line. Like
the whole perception that you just said is exactly my perception of Ronaldinho. Because every time I watch that guy play, everyone's like, oh yeah, but he does all these skills, and I'm like, yeah, but Ronaldinho, like, okay, cool, like, wow, he's like maybe a level above Eto'o. Like, I don't know, I just don't put him like. I think Kaká is a better player because he was more effective. But I just think that because Ronaldinho did some skills, I think history's been kind to him. Neymar is technically the best player I've ever seen in my life. Yes, he has the certain outs of like him doing things for the sake of it, but that guy is getting like 50 goal contributions a season with one of the best teams in the world and just being elite. Like, he was on that level, and he should have won a Ballon d'Or. He ruined his own career, but he was still very good at PSG.
Yeah, the difference is, though, Ronaldinho did win a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, but winning the Ballon d'Or before Messi and Ronaldo was like anyone was winning it. Like, but Messi...
Yeah, but you can't... Anyone. There was R9 and Zidane.
Would Ronaldinho have won a Ballon d'Or in the era that Neymar was in? No, he wouldn't have. He just wouldn't have. Messi and Ronaldo won every single one for 14
he
years.
did technically, but it's hard because I said this before. Like, if you look at the year that Ronaldinho won it, and then you look at the top goal scorer, he's not even in the list. That's not what he was, and that's the thing. If you look at all of these players, like none of them have ever hit the numbers that Messi and Ronaldo did. None of them.
Other than Neymar. And
Well, Neymar
Suarez,
and Suarez,
and
they both
Lewandowski,
played alongside
only
Messi
three
and stuff. But I would argue like the two strikers I've got right now coming up are better than anyone that is, any of that lot. Like they just are in terms of. So I have got
I don't know.
Gabigol.
I have a shirt with Batista on the back.
That guy rifling a ball. Oh my word! Like him at Fiorentina, him at Roma. Like just that guy. It's criminal that he hasn't won more than he did. He was an absolute beast. An absolute beast of a man. And I put him in front of Adriano simply because I got more years and more love for Batistuta. Whereas Adriano was so quick that it was already over and done with. So it's like I had to put in Batistuta for that reason. But they're kind of similar players for like the reasons I like them. And the last one is the highest peak and the best player to ever walk the planet in terms of like
for 18 months, yeah.
But the guy had like no knees and still scored more World Cup goals than anyone else. And
wow, until Miroslav Klose came along.
Yeah. But honestly, I can't explain. Like Marino even says it. Marino's like I've managed like Ronaldo. I've gone against Messi. This Ronaldo, like that is Ronaldo. And he was the best player I've ever seen. I can't explain how good he was. Like you watch like young CR7 doing step overs and it's like and then cut back and that this guy's step overs are the best step overs that have ever been done because people just couldn't deal with it. And it's like he did it against like everyone will go, if you say the best centre-back of all time is...
Saliba, Gabriel. I don't know.
Maldini.
I mean, I guess, but he played in an era where they just kicked the ball away. It gave up.
Like, he did it against people like that. And he did it against, like, the best defenses in Serie A. And that's something, like... When I look at like Messi and Ronaldo and I look at so this is another hot take from me. Defenders are nowhere near as good as they used to be. Strikers are nowhere near as good as they used to be. They just are not.
I fundamentally do not agree with that until I
will always go that. But
they had such an easier role.
The systems are so much better now.
But it's like
that's
the NFL
the problem,
thing, isn't it? Like I don't think NFL should be considered like the players of NFL shouldn't be considered as good as footballers because they only have to be good at one thing. A kicker has to be good at one thing, kicking the ball once or twice a game. Football back in the 90s and 2000s was so much simpler that the players didn't have to be intelligent. They didn't have to think. They could just make one run every game and they knew they'd get that ball played. Now, like I think Lewandowski is one of the best strikers of all time because yeah, he might not look the most fun. He might not be that interested, but his movement is better than any other striker because he doesn't rely on pace. He doesn't rely on dribbling. He doesn't rely on technique. He just is an incredible finisher, an incredible movement player that is being able to reach limits of this game that we've not seen. A fun player, Luis Suarez, like if you look at all the metrics, if you watch Luis Suarez play for like 7-8 years, one of the best strikers of all time. Unbelievable. But I just don't think people will see that because they'll be like, "Oh, these Serie A strikers."
I think you have to. I think he's definitely in the top 10. He might be in the top 5 for me.
I think R9 and Henry are the two of the strikers that deserve the most credit from that period because they weren't just one-note strikers. They were people that could do everything. Like, they could go past the whole team. They could literally dribble past everyone. Like, there's so many times where, like, you'd find them in other positions setting players up. Like, they could do that. A lot of, like I think Totti's a good player and stuff, like, and, like, is one of the best of all time because of his consistency. And I actually value consistency more than I value peaks. It's like the whole Hazard conversation. Hazard just got put in the Premier League Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And like, as a peak, probably one of the best in Premier League history. Consistently, though, he had like
As a trough.
He had 3 good seasons, and it's like, is that enough to be a Hall of Famer? How many Prems did he win? 2? Like, I don't know. Like, it's that sort of thing where, like, I don't know. I feel like that's where.
But then if you go, like, how actually good was he? Like, I mean,
but I think that's how football has
so-
changed now. Like, I think if if CR7 had a peak where it was 3 or 4, 5 years at that level, I think that nowadays it'd be forgotten about in many ways. But because we're so used to Ronaldo and obviously Messi setting the precedent, like Messi, and I get that people say like it's not always about goals. I think specifically, I don't know if forwards are better now than they were back then. I think that's a tougher argument to make, where you could definitely argue that forwards are better. I think defenders now are 100 times better than defenders then. And
I think in terms of, it's difficult, because what I mean is, like, in terms of like just the art of defending, I think like so my example is this. So Van Dijk, I think Van Dijk over the past like 5 years has been the world's best centre back. I just do. However, in terms of his actual ability of winning the ball, he is nowhere near on the level of a Cannavaro or a Maldini. He's just not. Like I can tell you from watching that he's not. But what he is very good at is he's very good at jockeying. He's very good at making sure that players make the wrong decision and organising the other players around him. Like, he's brilliant at that. But like, like for me, when I look and I just go, like Ronaldo, like R9, like actual Ronaldo, he just got crunched, man. Like, and it's not even like
But is that skill? I can crunch people. It's what
I'm not saying that about skill. I'm just saying, like,
but is it harder?
Players like him, so much harder.
I think just running out from 5 yards and crunching someone.
I think the best peak of any player is Ronaldo. The best player ever to walk the planet is Maradona. And the reason I put him over Messi is, again, because not only did he have to do it on harder surfaces and with much worse, like, balls and things, he also like dragged through a Napoli team to win the title, and he did things like that. Whereas I think you look and you're like, most people would agree, best team ever is the Barcelona team that had Messi in it. So he had all those other players around, and then when Messi went.
But you can also argue that on the flip side, where it's like, nowadays all the surfaces are amazing. Every single footballer is the fittest person in the world.
Oh yeah.
So in order to be that much better than everyone else, could be harder than it was back in the day. And you can also argue that Messi at 17 came into the Barca team that was already one of the best in the world and started because he was that good, and they knew he was that good. So like,
I think they're the closest kind of profiles to each other. Ironically,
I don't really care for Maradona. Like, he was a cheat and a druggie. So I like all of the things in my eyes, all of the things that he did in many ways, I do just disregard, because I just think, like, who knows what was legit, what isn't. I don't know. So, and all that thing. And also, he did only play in Europe for a couple of years. And I know, like, it was a bit different back then, like in the 70s and 80s. Like, I get that, like, South American football, like, was very, very good. Maybe, I don't know, actually, but it might have been. But in my opinion, like, he didn't play at that level. That's why I never put Pele in these conversations, because you might have been great in Brazil, but, like, how can I know if you've never really tried in other ways? And
he did win all the World Cups, though.
But the Brazil team's amazing. They had so many talents.
But he was the lead out of all of them.
But even then, like, without him, do they win the World Cup? They could do. Like,
but then if you're going, this guy scored this many goals, and he's also leading that team, then he probably.
But I don't like count the World Cups that high, because by that logic, Kylian Mbappe is on course to be the best player of all time.
Yeah, but I think. See, it's so funny how this is gone completely. I think also looking at the competition of the World Cup, the competition of the World Cup has become diminished over time. It's like the Champions League has become the premier trophy really now. not the World Cup.
I don't
which
know.
is crazy.
I think World Cup is bigger, but I think
It
that
is, but I think the quality is different.
I think the big difference is that nearly most of the iconic footballers that you see in these eras were playing for big nationality teams. Nowadays, because football is just way more diverse and we're seeing smaller countries invest a lot of money into football. We are seeing incredible footballers like Erling Haaland, who are Norwegian, who haven't even qualified for World Cup since I was born, basically. And I think that is maybe where the problems are. Like, teams are a lot less, let's say, balanced like nationally now because the talent is so much more spread. And I think a lot of that is like why it might seem certain aspects quite weaker. I just think as well, tactically, club football is so high that international football is so much lower to it that it kind of like makes it.
Whereas I think it was the other way around at that point with Pele, because I think, do you know what I mean?
Even Holland and stuff with like all of that and like that developed total football and all that. I know it's from Ajax as well, but that really became a thing through that. So yeah, I get that. I get that aspect. I think it's funny, to be fair, like how it works. I think if forwards in like the development of forwards is so interesting over time because it's like that there is some forwards that have just like, you know, been awful, I guess, and done well, and then vice versa. There's some forwards that are in the wrong period and they could be good. Like Miroslav Klose is never a guy that will ever really care about. He had a pretty bad club career, to be honest. Though he weren't.
Then you look at his World Cup.
He was final. He was so good at the World Cup. He scored in the 14 one when he was like an unk. He was so old and he still scored in it because they rolled one in for him. And I was like, it's so funny. But I think Mbappe will be the top goal scorer of the World Cup of all time. So, and he'll probably win multiple. And then everyone's going to be like, well, where does he fit in these arguments when Mbappe wins 10 Champions Leagues and 4 World Cups and he scores 25 goals in it?
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it?
He's already got 12 goals in the World Cup and he's 26.
Nuts, isn't it? Thank you, Tempop, for your comment. I really appreciate it. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. It does really help. I think at some point we'll have to do. It'd be good to get some other people on the channel if we can. If we can do like our top 5 goalkeepers, top 5 strikers of all time. So we'll all kind of vote and do like a Ballon d'Or thing where you get points.
David Raya.
Oh my God. If you put David Raya in, I love David Raya.
Because I hate every goalkeeper.
All time.
Like, you know what I was saying earlier where I was like, oh, people hate giving credit to things they don't like. That's me and goalies. I just don't like giving credit to keepers that don't like.
Yeah, but you just go, like, I'm not saying in any order,
I saw
but I would go.
When he was like 40 and he couldn't get on the floor. That's my memories of Buffon. I know, like, he was good at other times, but that is
Which is why we might need some other people to help us.
It's just like he can't get down on the floor, bless him. Oh, why is he still playing? Give it up.
Oh no, yeah, like you just go, I don't know, Tim Krul, David Raya, Buffon,
Livakovic, what other keepers exist?
Oliver Kahn,
Fabianski.
Oh, you would never have seen Oliver Kahn.
I never saw him. I know he was a cracker.
Personality.
Though. Yeah.
He was nuts.
I mean, you're part, like, you've seen Peter Schmeichel. I've only seen Casper, so who really won?
So weird. Who really won?
Who really is the better keeper?
Yeah, up there. I bet. Yeah, that'd be a good episode to do. We should probably do our favorite Arsenal 11 at some point as well. That'd be quite good.
Ozil will not be making it.
Really?
I hate Ozil.
Ooh, our most hated Arsenal 11s. There's an episode.
I don't know if I hate that many players. But,
I've got some. I can tell you that now.
You've probably seen like the entire team go to rivals. I mean, I have a lot of the 2012 team that did go leave, but I don't really care. Like, I don't care about
Nasri's in there.
Nasri's like a hate one. Like Adebayor's
Van
a hate
Persie's
one.
in there. Adebayor's in there.
I don't care about Gael Clichy going to City. Like
Andre Santos, he's in there.
Why do you like Andre Santos?
He was just awful. I hated him.
He scored against Chelsea. I remember it.
Yeah, I know, but I just can't stand the guy. Who else is in there?
He could defend. It was hilarious though.
Oh, would I put in? Oh, I don't know.
Do you know, like my favorite, like not my favorite players, but players that I really like, are like Super Tom, like Thomas Rosicky. I love Thomas Rosicky. He was cool. Like Arshavin, I liked Arshavin. He was cool. That goal against Barca will always be one of my biggest memories of Arsenal growing up. Like I love them sort of players. Like
There's
I did
Liverpool as well.
Like the problem is we've got so much bad blood with so many players. Like Song, I didn't mind, but then he kind of like screwed us over. Vermaelen kind of screwed us over. Koscielny kind of screwed us over. Like how these people leave is just so disrespectful. Like why can't they just be?
Oh, the Koscielny one, the way he did that with that shirt
for no
and
reason.
stuff.
Wasn't he our captain?
What are you doing?
But like,
talk about bad advice, because he would have been welcomed back to the club.
Yeah.
But now, well done, you burn all your bridges.
No one even talks about him as well. No one cares anymore. Do you like Alexis Sanchez? Because like I didn't like that, because he did that thing where he was not like down in tools, but he was moody. I remember him being moody for about 2 months before, because he wanted to leave in the summer, and then we sold him in January. But he still was good. He scored 7 goals. I remember him scoring against Everton. We won 5-1, and Koeman got sacked because of it.
Yeah.
And then like I like at the moment, at that time, I was really annoyed at Sanchez, but I just feel bad for him for everything that happened after, and like. And he didn't want to leave in the end. And then it's like, well, it kind of is his fault, but then I feel bad. So like as career's gone on, I've like grown up. It's like the Fabregas thing. Like at the time I hated Fabregas.
It
but now
made
I'm, like,
me laugh
older.
because didn't he say, "Oh, I went to Manchester, and the day I got there, I went, I want to go back to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Can we cancel this?" Like,
That's what they're doing now.
that's crazy.
I actually love the fact that our team right now are just so like friendly with each other. Like it genuinely seems like every single player comes
They
in.
seem like nice people. Like if you met them, like Declan Rice seems like
He's
a
so funny.
really nice person. Bukayo Saka seems like one of the nicest people. Like I want my goal for this channel. Okay, here we go. Here's the big exclusive. My goal for this channel is that I slowly move away from just doing streams in my room, and I go to doing just videos with Ben White on a dog walk. That's my dream. That's it right there.
I love as well, like when there's an introverted player, they clearly help them. Like they help Kivior a lot. I think out of anyone in our squad, Ethan's probably the biggest introverted one. He's very, very quiet, and they seem to help him. Like I kind of like that. Like Mosquera does seem introverted, but he actually isn't. I think he talks a lot, but I just like that. I just think that's like a good vibe, and also like no one's ever gonna leave if they all like each other.
David Raya seems like a really nice chap
I
as
love
well.
David Raya.
And
David Raya's my favorite player right now. I like that.
it's nice that when you see like Odegaard and Havertz, they obviously spend a lot of time together, like the families and stuff. Like it's really nice. You can tell that they're all really together. Like I can imagine that they all probably speak to each other outside of football, whereas I bet some clubs it's very like cliquey. You've got these,
and it
these
helps
little
because we've
pockets
had
of-
our team. Like I know we signed 8 players in the summer, but the core of the team have been there a while now, and that really helps. Like bringing new players in, especially when they all speak Spanish.
yeah, it does help, doesn't it? Yeah, we'll have to go through some more of the our favorite 11s and our most hated 11s at some point. Mate, what time is it? It is 1:25 in the morning. We've been going 3.5 hours. I should probably stop the stream here, really.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Mate, it's been quality catching up and going through all this on a different night, may I add. Those 3 of you that have still been watching,
I need to eat tea.
like,
Hungry. It's time for tea. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna play Dispatch. If anyone knows what Dispatch is, it's a really good game.
you have got to sort out your body clock and stuff.
It's all right. I literally had it like a normal person. I was waking up at 8 a.m. and I was like, this is awful, and I had to change it.
Guys, those of you watching, just put in the comments who is still with us now, because I am really intrigued at like who is still watching. It'd be great to know who you guys are, because you are the real G's. If you have watched 3 hours and 37 minutes of us talking, and at the beginning getting on fire, and at the end arguing about defenses, thank you so much. Like honestly, it's always like my favorite part of the week doing this. I am trying to get out more content, so there will be previews coming out. There will be more reviews of the games and things. But the FOKLZ podcast will always be on, usually on a Friday. Next week, are we back to a Friday next week? I think we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next Friday. Don't forget to hit the like button. Share it as well, guys. Share it. Put it out on your Twitters. Put it out on your Facebooks and stuff. Get it out in the open. Tell people, because the more people we get in, the better. It'll be good to have some conversations with you all as well. But until next Friday. It's your turn. Ready? We'll try that again. Wackles, ready? Until next Friday.
We're bye-bye. Is that what I'm supposed to say? We've
We'll
got to
leave
work
it
with
there.
that.